Is he alone? Is he at the airport? Is he on a fucking bus? Is he on the plane? Is there a clicking noise? There's probably a clicking noise. Is this a clip show? I don't know if it's a clip show. It's a fucking show. Just listen, goddammit! Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Everybody in the basement's here. Everybody in the basement getting tipsy. We're in the basement again with our friend David Hernandez. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
So we're here talking about stuff. I don't know, because he just looked at me. I walked in the door. I don't know, man. Because when I do this show, I can just talk. But then sometimes I don't want to. But then I get here and I'm sitting at his fucking table and eating donuts. And then he's like, "You ready to do this?" I'm like, "Nah, not really."
Yeah, but you were talking upstairs.
Yeah, but talking upstairs is different than talking down here.
Yeah, but that was some funny stuff you said upstairs.
Doubtful. I can't carry that. Well, that's an upstairs talk. Upstairs Mike's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. Upstairs Mike is a fucking riot.
Why are you wasting this on my kitchen?
No,
we should be in the basement.
downstairs Mike is a fucking drag. Nobody wants to hear downstairs Mike. Upstairs Mike is what it's all about. It's like Uptown Funk and Upstairs Mike. Just ask Mark Ronson. He'll tell you. Jill's son knows all the words to that song.
Yeah.
Not only that, knew them 8 months ago. Like I think the song came out, and the next day he's singing it in the backseat of her car. Because I've talked about him on here, and I don't know if I've talked about him to you. He's he has no he doesn't care. He's fucking awesome. He just sings in the shower. He doesn't care. He just like lets it rip. Doesn't matter to him. He's 15, and he just and every bit of 15 doesn't care. Like yesterday, we were at Jill's house, my lovely girlfriend, and he's like, "I'm hungry," and she's like, "All right," and 40 minutes later, just literally, it was back and forth. "I'm hungry. What do you want?" "I'm hungry. What do you want?" I'm hungry. And I'm like, well, and literally, you want to just, finally, just kind of shake everybody and go, "Somebody get something to eat before I drive myself fucking insane listening to this conversation." But then, because it was funny. But because Jill got home from work and she was beat. She was tired. She's laying down. And I wanted to go at 15. Because again, I have no place at all in saying anything to a kid or anybody's kid.
I was going to say that this is where the stepdad thing comes in.
Fuck that. Never in a billion fucking years. That's the thing. I know my place and I am not getting involved in that. But I'm just sitting there smiling because he just keeps going, "I'm hungry." And she's like, "Well, what do you want?" And he's like, "I want wings." And she's like, "Well, that's not going to happen." And he's like, "All right, well, I don't know. I want." She goes, "I used to make you like a big pot of spaghetti and think you did that all week." And he goes, "Yeah, and you haven't done that in like forever." And she's like, "Well, we've been on the go." He's like, "Oh." She goes, "Well, if you had a big pot of spaghetti, you could eat that." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm hungry." And I'm just on the couch going, "I'm going to get everybody a fucking sandwich. Does anybody want anything? Do you want me to do?" I'm ready to put fucking streaks of black and green paint on my face and go out and shoot a yak. I don't give a fuck. So I'll come in here and carve steaks for everybody.
Just to get him to be quiet?
Well, no, not even quiet. He's charming when he does it. That's the thing. It's not like if he was whining, then it would just be that weird thing where you're just like, fuck. But it's just, it's the interplay between a mom and a son where they're totally in sync with one another. And he's like, "I'm hungry." And she's like, "I know you are. What do you want?" "I'm hungry." "I know. So tell me what you want." "Well, I want wings." "Well, that's not going to happen." That thing. It's like here's one of my favorite moments ever with Jill. I was at her house one of the first times I was ever there. Even now I'm still tiptoeing around, because I'm a guest. I actually sat her son down and asked him if I could come and stay at the house. The first few times it started, I said, "I love your mom, and I want to make sure that it's okay." Because I knew what it was like to be 15 and have your mom's fucking these dudes sleep over and then walk out without a shirt on. Oh man, that's fucking awful. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nothing worse than seeing the guy who just banged your mom walk out in a fucking bikini brief, and you're like, "Dude, put on a robe or my dad's dead pajamas, whatever the fuck you gotta do to spare me from seeing the trail from your chest hair to your pubes. Not interested." Mike from prison.
Your dad's dead pajamas?
Yeah.
The pajamas died along?
They did.
Oh, okay, because I didn't know you could kill pajamas.
Dude, when you die, all your clothes die. You didn't know that? All the life goes right out of them. It's like literally, they just fucking, they fall on the ground.
Are these dead pajamas?
You could feel it. I see dead pajamas. It happens all the time. But yeah, when there's nothing worse than being like that kid whose mom is getting railed, and then the next morning that dude walks out to get coffee, and you're like, "Oh man, dude, just put pants on, just once. It's bad enough you're fucking balls deep in my mom. Do me a favor and throw on some fucking clothes. You don't have to come out and flaunt it in my face. Jesus Christ."
Oh man,
so terrible. And that's why when my mom got her off-site boyfriend and Bob would call, we'd be like, "Good, do me a favor, go jungle gym all over Bob at his house and let me have the house to myself and do whatever I want, so I don't have to hear weird noises and see weird dudes just come wandering out."
So you were setting the table for to be able to walk around Jill's place without your pants on.
No, that's the thing is I will not be that dude. Fuck that. I'm not Ruben. Another guy who tagged my mom at some point.
Ruben?
Latin
Ruben?
Yeah. Straight Latin. Like straight like goatee.
Your
and
mom
fucking,
knows what's up.
She wasn't messing around. Yeah. My mom's down with the brown.
Hell yeah.
My mom was down with anybody, I think, at that point, pretty much. My mom was down with whoever was still left at La Margarita when they were closing. That was her deal.
Jamette?
My mom loved Jamette. Oh my God, we've talked about Jamette, have I?
I don't think you've ever talked about it. Well, you might have.
Jamette burned me. It was fucking terrible.
Did your mom take you to see him?
Yes.
My dad took me to see him too. He's an Elvis impersonator.
Jamette was an Elvis impersonator, and he was at this bar called La Margarita that my mom used to hang out at.
It was a Bolingbrook.
Yes. Staple. But it was like out on the freeway, so it was like not in Bolingbrook. It was almost like the International Waters part of Bolingbrook.
It was like the
anything
Double
could happen.
Deuce. Yeah, it was like where the Double Deuce was.
Exactly.
Like, there's nothing else around it.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're in foliage and there's La Margarita. It's like you're driving, you're in a palm frond, and there's a fake Elvis. You're like, holy God. What the hell's going on out here in the outskirts of town? I mean, there's a high school and a Zare, and then you drive another mile and a half, and there's a fat fake Elvis who's drinking fucking saccharin. You're like, what are you doing out here, dude? Terrible. But my mom loved Elvis. So then by proxy, she loved Jamette just because that was as close as she was going to get to Elvis after she fucking almost made Elvis blind by taking his photo one time.
She saw Elvis in person?
Dude.
You never told that. You never told that story. I stopped listening a couple years ago. You might have.
No, I covered it. But who cares? I'll say it again. Why not, folks? We're because this is downstairs, Mike. Nobody's listening to downstairs, Mike. Upstairs, Mike. People pay attention.
Upstairs, Mike never met Elvis.
No, I did not. But I met a fake Elvis. But anyway, my mom, she saw Elvis, and my mom saw him at the International Amphitheater. Mm-hmm. And my mom
did too.
My mom was super close. My mom, I don't know exactly what row. But my mom, Elvis came down and sang to my mom's section, to my mom.
She sang to your mom's section?
He sang to whomever was there. Like he came down to kind of like go where my mom...
Is that code?
Because my mom had photographs. No, it's not. Ruben sang to my mom's section.
Let me see your section, baby.
Well, say, man, I was hoping to croon a little bit in your section.
I just want to see your section.
Do me a favor, just grab an ankle in each hand and just let me wander into that section and start singing, man.
Are you lonesome?
Ooh. Lordy, 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 Miss Claudie. That's the best I can do.
That's pretty good.
That's actually what I would sing into a ladies section. Probably I would do that.
Right? I'd look for a lot of songs with echo.
Hard-headed woman, soft-hearted man. I'm gonna go now. How are you?
We should have reverb on for this if you're gonna do Elvis.
Well, I don't know if I'm doing Elvis. I'm doing Jamette.
So it's 38 years. Is it 38 years since he died?
Yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
Yeah, that's
so
terrible.
Your mom was. So it was at a performance. She was close enough to. Okay, I thought like she met him at like a supermarket or something.
Well, she's not you meeting Ali on the street. No, wait, where's my mom going to meet Elvis? Hey, my mom ran a photo mat in Memphis, and she sold him flash cubes to shoot. I mean, what the fuck? Where's she going to meet him?
Elvis said to go out for milk.
My mom had a peanut butter distributorship, and Elvis would stop in, and he bought it strictly from her. She was his main peanut butter supplier.
I don't like chunky.
my mom had a bacon farm. And Elvis would pop in and go, give me that one. And say, man, I like that swine right there. You should give me that one too. And in the ghetto. That's what Elvis would do. He would come in, he would order his bacon, and then he would sing a line from his song. That's how he would do it.
He was like Jim Morrison from the Doors movie, where everything he said was a lyric.
Say, man, I think I want that hickory smoke one over there.
You got any Slim Jims?
Don't cry, Daddy. Daddy, please don't cry.
I see a change is coming through our lives.
Daddy, you still got me and little Tommy. Together we'll find a brand new mommy. Daddy, Daddy, please laugh again. Daddy, ride us on your back again. Oh, Daddy, please don't cry. Was there reverb? Do we look for reverb there?
Well, if you got another one in you.
I did. I might. I actually fucking might.
Hold on. See? Elvis. Yeah, see, now you can do Elvis.
Well, you do it now. That makes...
Well, we have a different Elvis repertoire.
Well, because yours is good.
No, I'm just saying. I'm young Elvis. That's what we do. I'll be young Elvis, and you could be older Elvis. Put on a show.
Don't look so sad.
When I was a lad,
I know it's over.
An old ship was a pup,
and did it my way.
key.
I don't have a key.
That's why I lost mine.
Fuck that. My Elvis is unlocked.
Unplugged and unlocked.
That's right. No keys involved. Well, if anybody's left, hi. There's no way anybody stuck around for that nonsense. I would actually call it dueling Elvises, but like it was in the sense that you were doing an Elvis and my Elvis should have been shot.
Like if Elvis had a stroke in the early 70s and there was a definite difference between his recordings. Oh, that's post-stroke, you can tell.
Yeah, I'm like, my Elvis is like Robert Plant now when he tries to sing a Zeppelin song. You know what I mean? He just doesn't fucking have it.
What a whole lot of love.
Oh, and speaking, I'll tell you, I got a Zeppelin story. Not really a Zeppelin story.
So your mom
saw Elvis and he came down to sing like in her area.
Right in her area.
Once again, he doesn't fuck around.
There's a nice area.
Say, man, why don't you open up that area so I can sing into it? I couldn't help but noticing you down here. I buried you in about 48 scarves, and now I'm down here hoping to sweat on you and have you peel off the suit, and I'm going to sing right into your area.
So she had I'm assuming one of those
She had a flash camera, and Elvis came down, and he comes down and he grabs my mom, and he's like,
wait, he was the kid. He was going to kiss your mom.
I don't know the full extent of it. All I know is he came down to the section to sing because I literally lost interest because I was 9 when my mom told me the story.
Whatever.
Great, you and Elvis, because I like a picture of Jeanette at that point.
Yeah, where's the guy with the balls?
He's walking to the kitchen to get fucking creamer for the coffee in my mom's bedroom. So he comes down to sing, and my mom's got a camera, and she's been taking photos all night. You know what I mean? She's got pictures from him walking and the fucking cape and the whole nine. It's like, because it's white, it's jumpsuit Elvis. That's my mom's, but not fat jumpsuit Elvis yet.
No, this is early. My mom went to probably that same show around 72, maybe.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah.
And but then Elvis came down, and he's walking around the thing, and he comes up near my mom, and my mom just Elvis is there, and instead of being super cool and being like, "Oh wow, I'm totally here without," she's just like, "Ah, snap!" So
like he was a Bigfoot.
Yeah, and we had a picture of him like a Bigfoot.
Gosh.
Literally, it's just half of Elvis's face with an eye open, just like. She may have blinded him for
it's
good.
Like that picture Anthony Michael Hall from 16 Candles.
Exactly, to get the Polaroid. Yeah.
Just his eye.
So she just fucking jammed the camera in Elvis's face and snap, snap.
Say, Mama.
And it looks like Elvis is escaping. That's the picture she got of Elvis. She wasn't like, she didn't even pay to see him. He was just like running away from her.
Oh man.
My mom invented paparazzi, I think, at that moment. And so, but here's the epilogue to that story. My mom has all these pictures and she loves them. She shows them and she has them. Mm-hmm. And then I had a party in my house. This was freshman year, and someone stole all of the Elvis photographs.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you're sorry. My mom was fucking. She couldn't. I mean, because then that was her. That was her deal. Yeah. She went and saw him and had all these. Because again, it's not like right now I got 1,000 pictures on my phone. You know what I mean? And granted, I'm naked in 945 of them. But still, you can do that now with the push of a button. They're yours. But my mom had, she had to go get them developed. She had to, Elvis had to get a cataract removed. I mean, it was fucking brutal, the whole process. And then the pictures were stolen.
That's weird.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, that's horseshit. They weren't. I don't know if they were stolen from the party I had. No, bullshit. They were stolen when someone broke into our house. When I was in 7th or 8th grade in Bolingbrook, we had just moved. Dave Sheehan did it. We knew Dave Sheehan did it, but we couldn't prove it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Statute of limitations run out of that?
Who gives a fuck? I don't care. If he shows up, I'll punch him in the fucking...
Wait, did he go there specifically for the pictures?
He may have. Sheehan's a huge Elvis guy. No, they fucking ransacked our house. They were just cunts about it. We lived on Lawton Lane. And we had just moved there, and we met some people. And again, this Dave Sheehan was a nice kid. He was our friend, but we knew he had done it. We fucking knew it because he had. Hold on, we got somebody breaking in.
No,
is that Ruben upstairs? Rogue is going crazy.
It's Jeanette.
Jeanette is here. He's got a bone to pick with us. Do we got to go check on this?
If you want me to go shut her up, I will.
I don't care. She can bark all she wants. Well, I had Tawny on the show for a while.
I don't know how distracting it is.
All right,
because it's actually aggravating me right now. So I'm going to go. Should I go up there?
Go ahead, man.
Hold on. Sorry.
That's fine.
I made Kristen take the dog out back. Just like old Shep.
I hate that song. God, I hate that song.
Why?
I just don't like it. I mean, because you were just doing a strain of it. And I'm not a young Elvis guy at all. I'm just not. I don't. I liked him, you know, as he got older and matured, and kind of rocking Elvis in the middle, and
There's
you know,
no rocking Elvis in the late.
no, I didn't even. Well, no, in the middle, like the real, you know, super prime of his life Elvis. That I love.
In my opinion, that's the late 50s.
That's I'm saying that's like 60s, you know, fucking Return to Sender and all that kind of stuff, you know, all the way through to the end is my Elvis. I don't. I know you like fucking zoot suit wearing rockabilly fucking Elvis, who's, you know.
I liked Elvis when he was bad, not good for you. When your parents didn't want you to listen to him. By 1962, 63, he was a movie star. The Beatles came, forget it.
No, I'm on board with that. That's how I like him.
See, he didn't make any. I don't think his music was as good as it was when he was covering, you know, Little
yeah, but
Richard
that's just
and
see,
Chuck
that's,
Berry.
I'm not that guy. I know you're all about the Jordanaires and a stand-up bass and nonsense, and I'm just like, yeah.
No, I like the idea of him being dangerous.
You like blonde Elvis?
I like, yeah, man, blonde. Yeah, sure.
You know who I like back then? Aaron.
Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron Presley.
Who's that?
Isn't that his twin? Jesse.
Jesse.
I'm sorry, Jesse.
Jesse Guerin.
Yeah, because it's Elvis, Aaron, and Jesse Guerin.
And Jesse,
All right,
and
yeah.
Jesse died when he was stillborn, or I don't know. They were twins.
I know Jesse was a friend.
He was a good friend of mine.
Lately, something's changed.
It ain't hard to define.
Justin's got himself a girl, and I got to make her mine, man.
So you were talking.
Rick! Sorry.
So the pictures got taken by Dave.
They got
Sheehan.
ganked, man. She and he ransacked our house because he had. All of a sudden, he had like 4 cassette tapes that we had that he never had before, and we went to his house.
Was he just a klepto? He just busted in?
He's just a cunt. I mean, we have no idea. Because again, he was the guy who taught me how to field a ground ball. You know what I mean? Like he would hit his ground balls. He played baseball, and he was a couple grades ahead of us. Oh. And honestly, I should have just climbed into his ass, but we couldn't prove anything, and we didn't do it. But he was just smug about it. We knew he kind of did it, but it was just nothing we could do about it. So, Dave Sheehan, if you're out there, man, fucking drop me a line, and I will come to your house, and we'll fight. Let's fight now.
Too bad we didn't know each other then.
Me and you?
Yeah.
You and me?
I could have called my pops.
I was closer to your house, actually, than I was to anywhere else. That was the closest I ever lived to by you.
Lawton?
Yeah. Lawton was up. Was
near
Ward,
Woodview.
Ward was between us. No.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Lawton was right by St. Andrews.
So,
right?
so you're St. Andrews.
St. Dominic's?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
St. Andrews in Romeoville.
I don't know churches.
I knew them as schools.
Yeah,
I
I did too. I knew them as I had to go there for catechism and try not to fall asleep.
No, that's where I went there for. I was supposed to go there for fucking, Sunday or no, what was it? CDC.
Catechism.
Yeah, is that what it was?
CCD.
CCD. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I had to go.
But we ditched it, and went and saw Meatballs instead.
Wow.
Lenny and I were like,
I never had the balls to do that.
We ditched everything. Are you kidding me? That's all I
had
fucking
to
did.
go. I had to go.
Well, yeah, you had to.
Yeah.
Your fucking dad shows up with a gun.
Mom and Pops says you got to go. You got to go.
Absolutely. My mom was busy again in bed with Ruben.
In Jemette.
Yeah, oh, God.
So get back to Jemette.
Dude, Jemette was this fucking Elvis impersonator, and my mom got into it and started going. And, yeah, my mom hung out. That was her deal. Like, she went to La Margarita, and she went to the fucking Apollo, and she knew all those dudes. She knew your dad, I'm sure, you know.
She probably did.
And so I went. One time, my mom's like, "Oh, you." She kept telling us about Jemette, and this is that thing where your parents are just like, my mom's like, "Oh, he's awesome," and she knows him, and I could not care less. I'm at the time I got to be 11. No, I'm 13. It's got to be I got to be in high school yet. Nah, right?
1980.
Maybe I'm 12.
1979.
Yeah, it might be 8th grade.
I can keep firing these numbers off. I'm pretty good at math.
I'm doing the same thing.
All right.
12, 18, 32. Hike.
Whatever, dude.
So
so you were not into it.
Fuck no, I wasn't into it.
See, I was into it. My dad said I can take you to see Jemette.
Oh,
At
okay.
La Margarita, because he knew. Well, obviously he knew the owner, and I'm like, oh, because I was so into Elvis when I was around that age. It was kind of weird. I was kind of the weird kid that liked Elvis when I was 1979, the middle of the disco. Well, but I like Elvis.
See, but I loved him too because that was what my mom liked.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's how I was. Too.
Yeah,
My
see,
mom,
that's how it formed you. Like, I mean, I loved Kiss and everybody else once I found my own music, but I still loved Elvis. That one, the 50 gold records and 50 or whatever the fuck I had. We used to play that album all the time. Yeah. New York and Hawaii, which I actually just got those like a year and a half ago. I found them on iTunes. I got Aloha from Hawaii and Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Dude, just because American Trilogy on both of them is just the greatest. You're just so hush, little baby. Don't you cry. You know your daddy's bound to die. and all my trials, Lord, soon be over. Ba, ba, ba. Fucking awesome. Goddamn, American Trilogy is awesome. So great. All right.
Yeah, I can just tell.
Dude, so Aloha from Hawaii and Madison Square Garden, all that shit for me was just the greatest. So my mom's like, we're going to go see this dude named Jamet. And I'm like, well, okay. Because she kept talking about him and she's like, oh my God, he's this Elvis impersonator. And so you're like, oh, that's awesome. To me, at that age, I don't get the concept of Elvis.
An impersonator.
Yeah. Where, I mean, like, if there were fake Kiss dudes all dressed up like Kiss.
Yeah,
and
you would have been like, yeah.
This is the greatest thing of all time. But because then there was a Halloween aspect to it at least.
Yeah.
But Jamet is just, to me, she's like, oh my God, he's just like Elvis. And I'm just like, I don't. And it was funny. Yeah. My mom had this misplaced excitement that she's dropping on her kids. Yeah. I don't know if all of her 9 boyfriends or whatever just didn't want to see him either, or had just gotten tired of it.
Realized there was a guy named Kenny who just had a jumpsuit and had a 3-piece band.
And I'm going to go on the record here. I'm going to go on the record right here. And my mom absolutely tagged Jamet. I don't think there's any doubt about it. My mom, I bet right in the middle of it, she put a camera in his face and went, ah, snap. So that might have been a picture of Jamet I saw. I might not have even, because it was so blurry, it might not have been Elvis. It might have been just a fucking weird picture of Jamet while he was tagging my mom.
Who stole all my Jamet pictures? Fucking Sheehan.
Holy dick. God. Oh, Jamet, put on some pants. Some rhinestone pants.
If I remember right, didn't Jamet have like a really receding hairline?
Yes, that's what I'm getting to. Yeah. If you go to the fucking show.
That's my memory now. It's coming back about Jamet.
And so, I know Elvis as Elvis. That's my touchstone with it. And I'm 12. So I'm expecting, lean, mean fucking dude. Because I had not been exposed to fat Elvis yet, really, at that point. Because, again, there was no
There's
TV.
No need to harm you that.
Well,
that's child abuse.
All we knew was the music. I didn't see any video on the guy. The video I saw was Aloha from Hawaii. Yeah. That was the thing that I saw. So he was still in amazing shape and stuff. So I didn't know what had happened, in the fucking later years when he spun off the planet into a fucking vat of peanut brittle or whatever the fuck he did with his life. Literally, he's just like, he's laying in bed eating mashed potatoes with his hands. It's like, no, that's not the Elvis I knew. You know who that sounds like to me? Jamet. That sounds like some shit Jamet would do. He would fucking put his hair in a pompadour and eat mashed potatoes with his fucking hands. He'd be mixing up peas and mashed potatoes and swallow it down. And he doesn't even shoot flash cubes, that motherfucker. He can't afford it. He's just like, you know what he's got? He's got a straw and some paper, and that's what he's doing. He's shooting it at fucking like weird sugar cubes. He throws sugar cubes in the pool, and he shoots fucking BBs at it. That's what he does. He just fucking fake Elvis over and over.
Matt, you dick.
Yeah, not a fan. So my mom's like, we gotta go. So I get there, and we're sitting. My mom, we're right in the front row, and my mom's got her fucking curly hair, and she's all excited.
You mean front booth?
Exactly. Yeah. And so and he comes out, and because again, my mom built it up. That was the problem. My mom built it up so much because she loved him so much. Yeah. And then he wanders out.
He wanders out, yeah.
Well, that's it.
Never wandered.
No, this dude completely wandered. He needed a GPS to get to the microphone, for fuck's sake. And he looked like, honestly, he had pulled like an 18-wheeler up outside and hopped out of it and walked in. Because that's what he was. He was just like a fucking weird truck driver dude who was dressed in an Elvis suit and singing. And there was no magic to it for me. Am I supposed to jump in here and sing?
I forgot. I goes. That's not.
We'll see. CC Rider. No, it's ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba. He would come into that.
But then he'd either play That's All Right, Mama, right? Or he'd do CC Rider.
Well, Jamet did CC Rider. That was what he came into that night.
Oh, see. Oh, see. What you have done.
Done, done, done.
I said, see Rider. Oh, see what you have done.
Done, done, done.
Yeah, you made me love you. Now your mate is gone. You know what I said?
Now, see if that happens.
But he wasn't bad.
If that happens, well, no, again, you're missing the point.
Yes, I am.
If what you just did happens, I'm like, holy shit, that guy's great. But instead, the second he walked out,
you laughed at him.
Well, I had to.
Did you blurt laugh even at 13?
He didn't even look like. Because here's you know what? Again, he looked like Elvis He looked like a grown up in Elvis underoos. You know how if you wore a Superman costume and then you wore Superman underoos, you're supposed to be, I guess I'm kind of like Superman if Superman wore a costume of himself when he went to bed. That's what fucking Jemmett looked like. He wandered out, he was a grown man in Elvis underoos. And then his hairline was so receding.
He looked like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh, dude. Well, yeah,
with sideburns.
While he was getting shot in the stomach, he had that face.
He made that face all the time. Mama.
So he fucking wanders in, and staggers to the microphone, and my mom is palpably excited. When it starts up, and then this dude who looks like my Uncle Pudge walks in a cape. And my mom's just like, wee! And I'm like, I don't get this at all. And so, no, he could, and I will tell you this, he could have opened his mouth.
Yeah.
And absolutely been that fucking, who was the dude who did the voice for the Kurt Russell movie?
The singing?
Yes.
Ronnie McDowell.
He could have been Ronnie McDowell. He could have fucking crushed it out of the park. He could have just Hank Aaron the shit out of it, and two white guys could have grabbed him as he rounded second base, and I would have been like, I don't know why anybody thinks you're Elvis because you're wearing Elvis underoos, motherfucker. Literally, he ruined it when he wandered out. He did.
Yeah.
It was literally, if there's anyone on the earth, I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. Think in your head, get this image. If you could think of anyone on the earth who you think should never wear a cape, I'm telling you it's Jemmett. I don't, if you right now drew a person, if I said draw a person who should never wear a cape, you would draw this lump of flesh that was pretending to be Elvis in front of my mom. And my mom going batshit. My mom I should tell you, my mom didn't even last a song. Yeah. She rode out of the room on a river of the water that was coming out from between her legs, and she floated herself out of the parking lot. Man, she loved him.
You think it was like Needful Things? Where your mom, you know the story by Stephen King, Needful Things?
Go ahead, I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, the dude, the devil comes in and sets up a store, right? And he plays the town like chess pieces.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you never read Stephen King's Needful Things or seen the movie. But the devil is like, he owns this shop, and whatever you go in there for, he has it. And then he won't sell it to you, but you have to do him a favor. So say you walked in and there was a Mike Schmidt rookie card signed by Mike Schmidt.
Okay.
You got to have it. You're 13 years old. You got to have it.
Right.
But he wants you to play a trick on somebody across town. Harmless trick.
Okay.
So you do it. Then at the end, you finally realize you don't have the Mike Schmidt rookie card. It's some other guy that all this time you've been looking at it and seeing Mike Schmidt. You've been seeing what you wanted to see. And the reality was that he gave you some crappy, third string platoon catcher from the Phillies.
So he gave me a Steve Jeltz?
Yes. That's what Jemmett was.
Man. Yeah,
your mom.
He's the Steve Jeltz.
Yes.
Of Elvis impersonators. But for my mom.
Yeah, Leland Gaunt told your mom she was seeing Elvis, and she believed him.
She ran with it.
Yeah. And it was Jemmett. And you were the only one that could see that it wasn't really Elvis, and you couldn't understand why your mom was so freaked out about Elvis.
Remember I just said all that stuff about if you were to draw some person who should never be in a cape and it would be Jemmett?
Yeah.
Take it back.
Who?
Stephen King.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that you tell that story, I'm like, Stephen King in a cape, that definitely changes it all.
Aha! Attack.
So my mom, she loved him. She was so excited to bring us out there. And Jemmett came out, and I guess you could see the skepticism on my 12-year-old face.
You were standing there, arms crossed?
I literally just got it, because I was bored out of my skull.
This is bullshit.
Yeah. Well, also, I'm in a fucking... When you really want to look at the large, I'm in a nightclub.
Yeah, me too.
I'm 12 years old. It's 11:30,
exactly.
And I'm in a nightclub watching a fake Elvis because my mom likes him. This is reminds me. I told you when we went to see E.T. and my mom loved E.T. So then all summer long she'd be like, "We should go to a movie," and we'd be like, "Oh my god, that'd be so great." She goes, "We're going to see E.T." And we were like, "Fuck, I don't want to see E.T. again." Jesus Christ. You know what, Mom? E.T. stay home. That's how I put it. I could not be less interested in going to see this movie again. I saw E.T. 9 times because my mom had fucking E.T. envy. She totally loved it. Oh, and finally, the 9th time we saw it, we said, "Mom, we're not going." She had to put a trail of Reese's Pieces into the theater. And fat us eat them all and sat down and went, fuck, this is happening again.
E.T.'s on.
So, man, fucking Jemmett, I'm at the table. Again, it's a nightclub. It's 11:30 at night. My mom has brought me there. And I still don't know why she brought us. I don't really.
Well, she was trying to, because you both liked him, or maybe, how sometimes as a parent, I forget that the kids are older and the shit that they liked 3 years ago, they don't care about anymore.
Right.
So you get kind of caught up in that. Oh, yeah, my parents to this day still do this, you like this show? I go, no, I don't anymore. I don't really watch it anymore. I used to love when I cooked it. No, I don't eat that anymore.
Yeah.
They just kind of, so your mom was probably like, oh, the kids love Elvis. They're going to love this.
Yeah. But
yeah.
she's right.
Yeah, but
we love Elvis.
We don't like Lee Harvey Oswald with sideburns.
I don't like Gary.
Jim.
Yeah.
You think that's what his name was, Jim, and he just had to figure out a way to make it sound more Elvis?
What if his name was Jim Met? Like, you know what?
That's his real name.
This is the fucking way to go. So he's just bursting out of the seams of this costume, and his hair. The only thing that's not excessive about him is his hair. He comes out. He's wearing the TCB
Yeah, you always
shades.
got to wear the shades. Even though Elvis never wear the shades on stage.
No, no, it's 11:30 at night. But I know you're trying to complete the look, but holy God! And if you're in the La Margarita, the only reason you're wearing the shades is to keep a stray chip out of your eye. Honestly, it's just because I'm in the front row and I'm fat and I'm just going at it in chips and salsa. That's the only reason I'm there at that point. Literally, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about fake Elvis. I don't give a fuck about this weird Gary-looking motherfucker who just wandered in a cape. I wish I had a cape. I'd fly the fuck out of here like Rocky the fucking Squirrel. But no, instead, I'm eating chips and salsa at the goddamn table waiting for it to end. It was terrible. It was like I went to the dentist and instead of a drill, he just put a fat Elvis in my mouth. Terrible.
Yeah, we had different experiences with Jimette.
I guess. Well, did you liked it? You bought it from the jump?
No, I knew what it was. My dad took me there because he knew I liked Elvis and he knew the guy, just like I'm sure your mom knew the guy. Again, got a 12-year-old kid into the nightclub. But that's no big deal.
Again, my mom knew all of them too. Well, I was in the same deal.
My dad taking me to taverns when I was 5 and 6. I mean, you haven't lived until you've drank Coke out of those frosted.
I've done it.
I know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it was cool to me. I knew what it was. I knew he was. He was I knew he was impersonating Elvis, and that was enough for me to think, yeah, this is kind of cool. I'll watch this guy. But the thing that I was kind of disappointed in is that you think you're seeing Elvis. Well, not you think you're seeing an Elvis show, but it was a nightclub, and the stage is probably about as big as the corner of my basement. So if I remember right, he just had like a 3-piece band. Mm-hmm. You can't do Elvis's from the 70s performance with a 3-piece band. It just sounds crappy.
There were more guys in Murph and the Magic Tones.
Yes. So that was my big complaint as a 12-year-old. I go, the music doesn't sound right.
Because if you're going to have that small of a band to do a fake Elvis, then strip it down.
Well,
do Black Leather 68 comeback special. Do that.
Or you need somebody that has a synthesizer or keyboards that can emulate a horn section, brass, or with strings.
Yes, but unfortunately, in 1979, those had not been invented.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. I guess you couldn't have done that. Never mind. I should have done the 50s, old stripped down, bass, drum, and guitar.
Yeah, but the only problem is he looked like the Big Bopper.
Yeah, he can't.
I mean, if he's going to do a tribute from the 50s, go Big Bopper.
Yeah.
Hello, baby. I got the Chantilly lace. Fuck you, music.
You're not a fan of the old music.
I just don't care about it. You know what? It's funny because I just think about that when I listen to my old radio shows, all those fucking dragnets and all that bullshit. It's just so funny how evident times have changed and how the way it was back then. Because back then, it was always like a mystery show. And this guy's he's like, I love you, doll. And she's like, well, what about your wife? And he's like, well, I'll get rid of her and we can get married. Nobody wants to get married again. Nobody wants to be married. And like nowadays, can you ever think about, I can't wait to get married again? No fucking way. It's just like when Jill and I are sitting there and she looks at me and she goes, marriage is stupid. And then we both go, but we would get married like to each other. And it's like, yes, that would be awesome. But then you see every other marriage, you're just like, marriage is the dumbest fucking thing ever. It's just, and again, if you're in it and it's great, then that's great. But when I hear these old plots of these shows, and they'll just be like, soon I'll get rid of my wife, and then you and I are free to get married. No, you just want to climb into that fucking area. That's all you want to do.
Yeah, you want to be in the area.
Yeah, so I don't understand it. It's so ridiculous in those shows. And then with the music, like we're talking about from the 50s, it sounds like a cartoon to me. I understand you like Buddy Holly. We've talked about this. And and I recognize that that's the roots of everything that came later. And some of it is great. Like some Buddy Holly is great, but then there's some of it that just sounds fucking ridiculous. It just sounds like the soundtrack of a Top Cat. And I'm like, I'm not on board. I'm just not.
Well, here's why I like it. Because it's Genius is, when you hear Genius, it's really cool to hear Genius. But nowadays, technology and everything, you can pretty much disguise yourself as a genius with the way things are produced now in studios and the digital, all that nonsense. Back in the 50s, there weren't songwriters, singer-songwriters. You were either a songwriter or you were a singer. So to me, Buddy Holly is the first case of a guy saying, look, I'm writing these songs, I'm going to perform these songs, and I'm going to record them, and I'm going to produce them. And they end up being, all his songs are just so well written, simple, 2, 3, 4 chords, and without him, there's no Beatles. That's just the way I look at it. As much as people say, well, without Elvis, there isn't any Beatles. Without Buddy Holly, there isn't the Beatles.
Now that I think about it, if anybody in the world needed a cape,
Buddy Holly needed a cape?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that probably would have made him look even dorkier, though, with the glasses and stuff.
I'm just talking about getting out of the plane.
Oh. Yeah.
He just literally, that's a dude who needed a cape.
Not just because you have a cape doesn't mean you can fly. Look at Batman.
Gives you a fighting chance.
Not if Richie Valens is pulling on your leg as you're being dragged through the snow. Get off my cape, man.
let go of my leg, cause I gotta escape. I'm gonna fly out with my cape. Ding, 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 ding.
Big Bopper won't let go of my leg.
Oh, Buddy Holly brought a cape on board. Thinks he's gonna fly away. I don't know. I'm gonna grab him right now, take him down to the ground. We're gonna be fine. Everything's good. I wish I wouldn't have taken this plane. I wish I got in a train. I wish I would have gone ahead with a little bit of Oh my God, I'm dead.
There's the first good cough of the day.
See, Jemet breaks that out. I'm on board. Oh, man. He brings out a Big Popper heading down impression, and that's perfect.
Oh man, I that's so funny. When I was in a band, we played a Halloween show. We had to play on actually Halloween night at some bar. So they wanted us to have costumes and everything, and I couldn't get the rest of the band to do this. I wanted to go. There was 4 of us. I wanted to go as the Buddy Holly plane crash. I was going to be Richie Valens. The guitar player was going to be Buddy Holly. Our other guitar player was a bigger guy. He was going to be the Big Bopper, and our drummer was going to be the pilot. We were just going to be like all in tattered clothes and blood and shit everywhere. I thought that was like a brilliant idea.
It is fucking genius, and I am shocked because you're like, I couldn't get the rest of the guys on board with this. Who's not on board with that idea?
People that are not like us.
Oh my God, I think it's a brilliant dude. That's genius.
Because I looked at us and I'm like, come on, I'm Richie Valens, obviously. You're a big guy. You should be the big leopard sport coat with a ripped. I mean, that would have been genius. Bloody pilot.
The only problem is that you run into with that is everybody in the crowd thinks you're just the Thriller video.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Nobody gets the reference at all.
Now you think about it, some of the bars we played at would have
they got no idea.
Understand it.
No, they're all waiting for the Vincent Price laugh.
Yeah. Who are you supposed to be?
Why are you in here, Mexican?
That's not that far off.
Exactly.
My girl says you sing pretty. Sideburns.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started.
Well, that's
Hey, Sideburns. What do you do for? I've done what I do for you.
Now I'm gonna kick your foot out.
What do you do for a living? I work in my old man's garage out of 48. Well, I'll tell him what I do for you. Why don't you get down and put a new seat covers on my car? New set of seat covers on my car. The way he says it is so fast. Why'd you get down and put a new set of seat covers on my car? Why, sure, Sideburns. I reckon your color's yellow, ain't it? Fucking Elvis fight. Deke fucking Rivers. You're goddamn right.
Did you see Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox?
I have not seen that. I've heard it's brilliant.
I like that movie a lot. And Jack White, that's him, right? From the
Yes.
Yeah, he plays Elvis
from the White Stripes.
Yeah, and yes. It is the funniest, stupidest thing I've ever seen. You would like this. You would like just this one scene, just because the Elvis he does is brilliant. It's the best Elvis impersonation ever.
All right, I must see. Even better than Jemet?
Yeah. Though Jemet never made a movie, though. I don't know.
Not that you know of.
I've seen two.
He and my mom may have made a fucking 8mm. I have no idea about.
Was your mom into Rick Saucedo?
She did like Rick Saucedo. I don't know if she ever went to see him.
He was another local.
Yes,
he played here a lot, and we went to see him when I was older. I was like 18 or 19 years old.
I think half the battle with Jemet was he met my mom and she knew him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think Saucedo was coming around and saying hi. Mrs.
He wasn't in areas and stuff. He didn't go to areas.
No, he was way out of my mom's area. He was out of my mom's zip code. My mom and
that's the way you want it.
No, I think my mom was fully settled in with a Mike or a Ruben at that point.
Ruben.
Ruben was tagging because I know my mom. Ruben was one of those dudes. Like he was And he was a terrible dude, like, because he was tagging Debbie next door, this chick Debbie. I told the Debbie story on here. Debbie was just incredibly beautiful. Like, I mean, even as a little kid, I was like, whoa, dude.
You can't be looking at little kids like that.
Well, she wasn't little. I was.
Oh, you were little. All right, sorry.
No, dude,
that was weird.
I was fucking 12.
All right, I'm sorry.
And I was 12. I could go ahead. I could believe.
Yeah,
it.
it just came out wrong.
If I was 12, I could. When you're 12, you can look at anything that way. You could be like, "Wow, that's a sexy puppy." I mean, like really, you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? You're a walking heart on at that point. You're just like, I don't know why this is happening, but now it's wet. You know what I mean? It's just fucking. That's how it works. So Debbie was next door, and she would like watch us, and she was just this. I mean, and again, even at 12 or 11, I knew.
Yeah, you knew.
You know that thing where you're like, oh, she's not like the other people here.
She's curvy and
she's totally not like the moms that I've seen. You know, she was like this 22-year-old chick who lived next door to us, and she was out. You know, she'd be out watering her lawn and cutoffs and a fucking tied top or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not a. What's the word for that? It's a half top that's just tied in a knot. You know what I mean? Like fucking Catherine Bach. And she kind of looked like Catherine Bach, and so we'd just be out there just like, whoa, but not in the face. She had like that just a normal person face, but her body was just ridiculous. But Ruben was her boyfriend, and then all of a sudden we'd wake up and Ruben would be sleeping at my house, and I was just like, I don't know what's happening with Ruben, tagging everybody in this Romeoville neighborhood, but good for him. But I also don't know why he's sleeping with my mom and he's got Debbie next door. What the fuck are you doing here, man?
You can't handle that Latino heat, man. Once it gets out of the box.
Yeah, he's just all over the joint.
It's a curse.
Well, I was not ready.
Did I know anything about that?
My mom wanted salsa for breakfast. Good for her. But Debbie was just. There was one time. I swear to God, I told the story on here. We would watch her sunbathe. We would just go look at her, and we didn't even know why. It was that sort of thing. We were just like, this kind of. I don't know. This makes my pants tighter, so let's go check it out.
You guys want to watch TV? No, I'm good.
No, I'm okay.
I'm going to stand right here for.
I'll tell you what. You stay here and play Pitfall. I'm going to go watch Debbie hold a hose. So she one time she had these mean dogs. So I go back by her fence, and they had a real tall fence, like one of those fucking like Fort Sumter Civil War fences with the points on the top.
Yeah.
So I guess I wouldn't hop in and try to grab her. I guess, but it was missing a slat. So there was one you could see in her yard, you know what I mean? And she would come walking out in just like a bra and shorts or whatever, and just be like, and she didn't care, like she was this hippie chick who'd just be like, hey Mike, you know what I mean? Hi,
hamana.
How you doing? Hey, did you see a hole in the yard? Because I want to stick my cock into it if it's possible. Can you bring that hose over here and just get this spot all muddy so I could lay in it? That's all. I just want to lay in it and practice swimming. Can you do that? I just want the front of me touching something solid. Could you come over here and do something for me? So one time she's in the yard and she's like hosing everything down, and there's the slat missing, and we're over there and we're taking turns and we're like peeking through. So I didn't just peek through. I like pressed all of me against the fence like to get a better look.
Hello, baby.
Oh, Chantilly lace and a normal purple face. So I'm pressed up against the fence, and I'm watching Debbie. And I mean, out of nowhere, she's got like an Irish setter, like this, and it's got red hair, and it just comes over and just fucking
bites you,
dude. Well, tried to bite me, but gets a hold of me. It bites the crotch of my fucking jeans.
Oh, dude, you were poking through the fence and it tried to.
Yeah, but thankfully I wasn't at full Debbie yet, so. This thing just gets a hold of, like, it bites my zipper, like chomp.
Oh, dude.
And it kind of starts, balls. Yeah, exactly. And it starts kind of like tugging, and Debbie's like, oh my gosh. And she comes over, and it's that thing where, you're embarrassed because now my cock is involved, but it's really not.
Your dog bit my cock.
And then I'm wondering if I'm supposed to, like, is it supposed to be big enough to be hurt right now? Like, because again, I'm fucking 11. I have no idea.
You're standing with your hands on your hips?
Yeah, I'm just pressed into the fence. Oh, I'm fine.
Please get your dog off my junk.
Did my 11-year-old cock break your dog's jaw? There's a sentence I never thought I'd say. But sure enough, she comes running over and she finally gets the dog off of me. And I mean, I back up and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, and again, I didn't know how to answer. Yeah. Like, I'm going to go, "No, my giant penis is hurt." I'm a child. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say.
I got a wee wee.
Exactly. I'm scared to fucking death. I mean, it was just because it was tugging, like trying to pull me through the tiny slant in the fence.
And now you got shrinkage.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Forget about it. Yeah, I might have gone in.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for it to pop out.
You scared it up in there.
Just telling this goddamn story. It's actually, you know what? When you run your hands along my spine, there's an extra bump at the bottom. You're like, what's that?
What is that?
Yeah, I got news for you. That's from the fucking dog.
Just push on it.
Yeah. And so we'll get Debbie out. It'll fucking emerge. So sure enough, the dog, and I back up, and I'm so freaked out, and she's talking to me. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine." She takes the dog away, and I go to walk away, and I look down, and there's 4 perfect holes in the zipper of my fucking jeans. Dude. Like it didn't tear it off. It was trying to pull me through, but it's all they're stretched, kind of pulled out. Because I think they were fucking. And I'll tell you this. Thank God for Tough Skins, because I mean, you know, if they're any other fucking of that, if they're normal denim, I'm you know, we're doing the show in a lot higher register, quite frankly.
I thought the Tough Skins were only reinforced at the knee.
I don't know. That day, whatever. Then
your mom got you special big boy Tough Skins.
I may have had these pants on wrong. There's a good chance that I may have been stuffed into one leg of them.
Because I remember, Tough Skins, their whole deal was that their knees were like triple reinforced.
Yeah,
so
and
you walked
also
around looking like you had knee pads on all the time.
And so were the cuffs. The cuffs at the bottom, so they wouldn't get all stretched. I don't think the zippers were reinforced.
Yeah, you might have had Tough Skin crotch pants.
I had something out of Kevlar happening, because he bit clean through the dog. The dog bit clean through the fucking zipper of my jeans. And so believe me, this show would be a lot fucking different if that had happened, for fuck's sake.
That affects a guy right there.
Well, sure it does. And I mean, while I'm telling the story now, I'm sweating, for fuck's sake. So I'm in this nightclub at 11:30 at night, and this fake guy wanders out, and I'm just like, I'm not down with this at all. And I'm in the front, and my mom is like, wee, and she's all happy, and he's singing. And then I think I literally I got my arms crossed, and I'm just sitting there looking at him. All I'm doing is eating chips. That's my main goal. Yeah. I'm going to eat as many chips as I can until the lights go out in this entire fucking enterprise. I would have bankrupted the motherfuckers if they would have stayed open another hour, because I was mowing through chips and salsa. And he comes over to the thing, and he comes over to the table, and he puts a scarf on my mom.
Oh no.
I don't, like, dude, right in front of me? Really? Yeah. Fucking Jamette? You're going to make a play for my mom right in front of me?
Yeah.
And he puts the scarf on my mom's shoulder, and he does the thing where he does the hand along the face. Yeah.
Take my sweaty. Yeah, it's not the same when it's sweaty Jamette.
No, and I don't think it was a scarf. I think it was like a fucking dish towel. Like, I mean, I don't know.
He got it from the kitchen.
He did. He brought it out. He had a fucking Hector come out and hand it to him. And
when his shift was over.
Oh, so bad.
Jamette, it's time to go on. Grab the towel.
Yeah, and he just throws a handful of cilantro on my mom. What are you doing, man? But my mom is like swooning. She's like just totally mooning over the guy, and he looks at me. And in the middle of the song, it's like a talk break, and he just goes, he's like, "Say, man."
As Elvis was wont to do.
And I'm like, "Hi." And he was like,
"Hi, Elvis.
What's wrong with you, man? You having a good time?" And I was like,
Even then, you couldn't
lie. Fake it.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
At 12 years
just
old,
for my mom.
This is bullshit.
No, I'm just eating chips two-fisted and waiting to get the fuck home and go to bed. I probably still had school the next day. You know, it was one of those days. It's like a Thursday. Yes. Why am I in a nightclub on a Thursday night at 11:30 watching Gary sing "I Can't Stop Loving You" to my mom? Fuck that. So he's like, "What's wrong with you, man? You don't think I look like Elvis?" And I went, "No." I could have lied for my mom's sake. I could have lied for the sake of everybody in the room, but my mom is she can't even see me. She's covered in cilantro. And I'm just like, "No." And he goes, "Oh, what have you been drinking or something, man?" And because he's trying to be funny.
Yeah, he's trying to play.
And literally, I have a drink in front of me. I mean, it's not booze, but my mom, she ordered a round of Shirley Temples or whatever the fuck. So it's just, granted, it's grenadine and pineapple juice, but it looks like a fucking drink. So stupid me, he just goes, "Oh man, what have you been drinking?" And I literally pointed the drink, like, "Yes, I have." And he goes, "Oh, what's that, man? Kitty cocktails?" He burns me. Like, I'm getting fucking burned by Jamette in front of and the whole crowd laughs. Ah, ha, 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 ha. And I literally wanted to turn around and go, "I'm 12 in a nightclub. Don't laugh at me." Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-year-old boy, please welcome Elvis Costello.
Oh, Kanye West, get off my lawn, get off my lawn, get off my lawn, get off my lawn.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, a bunch of dudes railed my mom. That seemed to be the first segment of the show for some reason. That's what I'm taking out of it.
Very graphic.
How did I even fucking spin into that? That's what I don't even remember. Because we started.
I think you were.
All of a sudden, I'm talking about an Elvis guy banging my mom. It's like, wait a minute, how did that? I'm in a basement, and the next thing you know, we got fake Elvis, wrapping my mom up in a cape and taking photos.
You were talking about Jill's son and her talking, and then something about you asking permission.
Yeah, because what happened? Yeah, because being at the house, I when our relationship first started, and she said, you can stay by me. I sat him down and I asked him because he was 14 at the time. No, it was not that.
Here's the deal, man.
No, even better. Yeah, that's what I did. I got all dressed up in like a Letterman's jacket. Hey, buddy. Hey, you want to have a catch?
Hey, Tiger.
So awful.
Guess what?
Yeah.
You're going to be seeing all this in all its glory.
Yeah, you can't.
Because I don't wear shirts.
Fuck that. No, because I've done that. I think I'll go out from the bedroom to the kitchen, and Jill is. I love Jill, and Jill loves me, and she was like, "Hey, you don't have to put a shirt on." And I'll go, "Oh no, I do. Yeah. I absolutely do." I go, "There's nothing worse than 15-year-old boy seeing his mom's boyfriend walking around in like a pair of shorts. It's fucking horrific. Nobody wants that happening."
Oh man.
But it's so cool to see her interplay with her son because I'm her boyfriend and I'm not his pal. I'm Mike. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. I'm not trying to be like, hey, tousle his hair or any of that bullshit. We've gone to his baseball games and his football games, and that's awesome. And he's been cool to me, and I've been cool to him. Yeah. But again, he's also old enough to kind of get it. Like, I couldn't even imagine walking into a relationship with an 8-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you respect the relationship, and you're not overstepping your bounds. You're not trying to be stepdad guy. You're not trying to be his pal, his buddy.
No, and it was so interesting
respectful
to see her because Jill for me, she's a fucking sexual creature. All right, I mean that's how I knew her. I mean, it was her friend first, and then it crossed over into more. And so for me, you see her from that desirous, lustful angle, where that's what I want all the time. I just want my hands on her, everything else. But then when I see her at her house with her son and I see her being a mom,
they forget she's a complete person.
Well, exactly. It's like, but it's sexy as hell still. You know what I mean? It's still really cool to watch and to see her able to pull it off. And just, there's something about that strength that I didn't even see. I mean, I just saw her as this unbelievably hot woman in a cocktail dress. Yeah. But then you see her in sweatpants and she's making him, some chicken strips. And here's one of my favorite moments of all time. We're in the house one time and he comes in from practice. He was at I think he was at a baseball practice. And he comes walking in and he kind of mumbled that hello, and she's like, "What'd you say?" And he's like, "Hello." She's like, "Oh, hi." And she goes, "Say hi to Mike." And he goes, "I did," because he did when he said when he walked in. And she's just cooking at the stove, and she doesn't even look at him. And he comes over, and he gives her a kiss, and she goes, "Go take a shower. You smell like boy." like she didn't even look at him. She's just cooking, and
something she said probably a million times to him. Yeah,
but I loved it. I remember that moment. I can see it vividly happening in front of me, and also it made me feel comfortable and part of the family for that to happen in front of me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I wasn't an interloper. I wasn't an intruder. I was welcomed into the home. And I was seeing real life.
You're seeing, true stuff.
And I've said that to her, too. As much as I love this fantasy stuff where we go to San Francisco or we're on a plane together, and that stuff's amazing, but I love just sitting on a couch under a blanket watching TV. And she sleeps, and I'll rub her legs, and that's real life, and I love that stuff.
You're being a grown-up.
Exactly. I'm actually kind of, and I feel part of a family, or I feel part of a belonging, and it's really amazing. And but at that moment when she didn't even kind of look up at him, she just went, "Yeah, go take a shower. You smell like boy." And you know what he did? He went and took a fucking shower. You know what I mean? Because his ma told him to take a goddamn shower. It was just, there was no hassle, no arguing, no back and forth. He just went, and he didn't show off for me in front of me. And he'll do that occasionally where he'll try to assert himself a little bit with her in front of me. And I just, I don't, like even yesterday, she was, when that I'm hungry, that I'm so hungry thing, I was out of his eye shot. And she was looking at me, and she was really tired coming home from work. And I'm looking at her, and I start mouthing, "I'll take him. I'll take him. I'll take him." And she goes, "You can talk out loud." Mm-hmm. And I went, "Oh," because I didn't want to be that the weird interloping boyfriend who went, "I'll settle this. I'll take him for food while you relax." Yeah.
I thought you meant I'll take him out.
Oh, you want me to take this kid out?
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, I just fucking hold my fist up. Who wants some?
I'll hear Kristen will be going at it with I have a 16-year-old, soon to be 17-year-old daughter, so you can imagine what that's like, mom and daughter. So every once in a while, nothing serious. It's typical stuff, Kristen wants her to do something, and she's rolling her eyes and throwing a hissy, and I'll always have this look on my face, and I'll look to Kristen. I go, you tell me when you want me to get up. I'm serious, because as corny as it sounds, that works.
Oh, sure.
There's a difference between, Ava were late coming downstairs. Mom has to tell her that 3 or 4 times. But when she hears my footsteps in the hallway, which are definitely different than Kristen's, she comes down like that. She knows it's time to,
no more goofing around. Yeah, we're getting serious.
So it's that I get the weird eye contact where you're like, you want me to do my thing? Because I can do my thing. I don't want to do it all the time, because that.
Yeah. Well, that's what because I was trying.
I don't want to undermine your authority as well.
Exactly, and it's not my place at all.
Yeah.
All I was trying to do was I wanted to be the guy who was like, because I knew how tired she was just coming home from work.
You just wanted to help solve the
So I was like, yeah, I'll take him to go get some food, but I also didn't want to be the guy who gave him permission to get food. You know what I mean? That weird, like, opening a window, and I didn't want to look like I was on team him. And
you don't want to undermine her authority.
Not at all. So I always keep it at a distance and kind of watch it unfold. But it's so amazing to me to see her be a mom. She'll say to him, hey, did you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
And he'll go, yeah. And she'll go, did you brush your teeth? And he's like, well, I'll brush them at my dad's.
Yeah.
And she'll go, brush your teeth. And he's just like, well, I don't. And she goes, okay, brush your teeth. And then he just goes in and he brushes his teeth. You know what I think? Like, it's hilarious to me to watch it unfold, because my mom would have just punched me in the head. Like, literally, hey, did you brush your teeth? No, bam. Well, now you got no teeth to fucking brush.
Now you can't brush them.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now
so
you
I mean,
can't
it's just,
brush them.
But to see them with that, and she goes, one time she looks at me, she goes, he knows that I will check to see if his toothbrush is wet. And she goes, I have said, hey, come here. And she'll smell his breath. And she'll be like,
pull his mouth open.
Literally, that thing where, and again, she's tiny, this little, and he's grown up. He's a 15-year-old boy. He plays 9 different sports. But still, when mom says something, you fucking do it. It's so great to watch.
There's definitely a different dynamic between teenage boy and his mom as opposed to teenage girl and her mom, or teenage boy and his father. Because there's all kinds of crazy stuff that can go any way. Right now, we're dealing with teenage girl. And that's just, I mean, it's a mystery, man. I'm almost,
Are there different insights that Kristen has that you don't?
Here's the problem. Kristen and I are complete opposites with our disposition, our personalities.
She's nice?
Yeah, she's actually
She's
tolerable.
a good person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that weird the way that works out?
Yeah. I can't believe you two are together with that, but good for you.
I'm actually the more compassionate one. I'm the more sentimental one. I'm the more sensitive one of the two of us, which is usually role reversal. We're completely role reversal. She's all business. So right now it's weird where Ava can talk to me a lot easier than she can talk to Kristen, but there's going to be, when it comes to boys and stuff like that, you don't want to talk to your dad.
Nope.
So we're trying to find that comfort zone where, we can talk about whatever we need to talk about, but then there's going to come a time when Kristen's got to be the one that she talks to. So I'm just trying to make sure that can happen.
Well, eventually, it's going to be uncomfortable discussing it with you, and she may grow out of talking to Kristen about it, so...
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Jamette?
Yeah.
You might want to get Jamette over here.
We might need
You might have a scarf on her shoulder?
Yeah.
Do you think she'd want to talk to her Uncle Mike about boys?
No.
No?
I don't think she wants to talk to anybody about boys.
Do you think she wants to talk to her Uncle Mike at all? I think in the past year I've gotten high and by, literally.
Yeah, somebody told me when it comes to teenagers, especially girls, you lose them for a couple years, and then by the time they're in their early 20s, they come back.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, they come back. But it's not like she's not defiant or she's not bad,
No, she grew up.
She's a typical.
But literally, I was here one time, and I remember her. I made her laugh until she cried by eating spaghetti in a weird way. And then the next year,
the same way, yeah.
And the next year, I thought her name was a door slam.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. It was like literally, hi Ava, wham!
She came out. She came out of her room.
Oh my God, she exists. So that's it's fun to watch. It's interesting. So do you think? And Val relates to Kristen though, right?
Yeah, but he's again the kids. They imitate their surroundings. Now I've known Kristen since I was 17 years old. So there are times when all I do is I bust her balls. I just do. I tease her. He teases her now. He teases her in a very funny way because she understands. He's another me.
He's being you.
Exactly. But I also know that I need to show him that I respect Kristen as well. So he's learning, I guess, that it's okay to tease in certain things, but as long as he does it in a fun way, he knows he's still being respectful. Because if you saw a script written down of what he said to her, you'd be like, man, that kid's a brat.
Yeah.
But you have to hear it. Like she'll say, Val, you got to go brush your teeth. He goes, you got to go brush your teeth. And like,
Yeah.
but he's doing it.
And then he
funny.
goes and brushes his teeth.
Yeah. You are. He just does it. You are. And she'll say, you know what, Val? You know what you got to do today? Talk to your mom. And he's like, it's snotty if you were just to see it, typed out in a script, but you have to hear it. It's hysterical. And she knows it. He knows it. We know it. So he gets a lot of leeway because he really is a good kid and he's funny.
Well, it was that same thing, when I mentioned that Ava was a year later, I showed up and she was just a ghost.
Yeah.
The same thing with Val. I was here and Val never ate. He never ate a thing. He sat at the table. He'd laugh. He'd joke. He'd goof around.
We'd have to trick him into eating.
But he was shy. But then I came back a year later and he's making jokes and talking about gorillas and all sorts of bullshit.
He's a
and you're
goofy kid.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, you see them change and you live it day by day, but I come, every
when you don't see it, you can see the growth more. And
I was coming twice a year and I would see it be, changing on the fly. It was really amazing, just leaps and bounds.
Yeah, because last night we ordered a carry out from a local steak joint. He and I both ordered the same meal.
Oh my God!
And that never would have happened. 5 years ago, we couldn't get him to eat anything, and now he's eating giant big ass steaks and stuff.
But the thing is, that says so much about him and you because he now is eating and he's eating a big meal.
Yeah.
But you've turned into such a girl over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
You're like, is there any sugar in that? Oh my God, really? You're that dude? Come on.
I have to be.
We'll go to Portillo. Like I'll come to town. I want to go to Portillo's. I want to go eat, and he'll go to Portillo's and he'll be like, "Can I get the charbroiled chicken without a bun?" You know what I mean? I'm just like, "What are you doing, man? What happened to you? You used to be beautiful."
Yeah.
But now it's like this.
I think I told you this before. Or made this analogy. We're like a couple of recovering alcoholics. We get together and we want to go back to the old tavern, but we realize we can't.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. I want to live.
Well, but I'll tell you this. You know what is fucking awesome? I have a new running buddy for that kind of thing.
In town?
Close. Jill.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
She asked when we went before our trip to Pittsburgh, we stayed a night in when I talked about Cicero Avenue and I stayed over there. On the way down, she was like, "Hey, there's a Portillo's like 5 miles from this hotel."
Oh, God.
She found it on her phone. She Googled it and found it. And I just went, all right, well, we'll go. And we wound up going to Portillo's before we even went to the fucking hotel. And so she'll just get like a big beef Chicago dog and I get a combo. She doesn't even like sausage, but she'll have a couple of bites of the sandwich. But she wants to go because it's so amazing. I took her there once. Like we were just driving by and I saw it and I lost my mind. I'm like, oh my God, fucking Portillo's, you got to go in there. And then she was just like, she had a burger the first time, the charbroiled burger. And she was just like, this is really good.
Oh yeah, their burgers are underrated.
Not only that, but we were going home because I come here and then I got to drive home. Well, she and I were driving home from when we landed from Pittsburgh. We had to drive home because our car was parked near Midway at the hotel. We're driving back, and I had said it in the beginning of the week and then completely forgot about it. And she looks at me as we're in the shuttle coming from Midway to the hotel to get the car.
Yeah.
Are we stopping at White Castle on the way home? And I just went, yes, of course we are. Oh my God.
Now, is she doing that because she really wants to, or she knows that's your bucket list?
She can eat, dude. I mean, she puts it away and no, but she loves that stuff. She actually, I was shocked. I mean, because again, I wanted to go, but I wasn't going to say anything.
No, I know.
But she said it to me yesterday. She goes, "Hey, are you going to bring White Castle on the way home? Because there's one right in Kenosha on the way up to her place."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, I absolutely will do that." She had it, dude. Let's put it this way. All right, you ask whether she really liked it. The last time we went there, I bought 3 double cheese, extra onion, no pickle, and she got 4 cheeseburgers, extra onion, no pickle, and she got a little sriracha chicken sandwich or whatever the fuck. So again, I buy like that. I ate 1.5 of the double cheeseburgers and I was done. I mean, I was cash because that's the thing is I can go there, but I can't fucking eat anymore like that. And she can put it away, but she had a couple of her burgers and we split the sriracha thing. So I was flying the next day, like I was leaving town.
Oh, good.
So I bailed, and then the next morning, she had it for breakfast. She kept the leftovers in her fridge, and she ate it for breakfast the day after I flew.
I'm glad you found somebody because that I really am because I'll tell you, I would sweat when I knew you were coming into town because I'd been doing so good watching what I ate and trying to keep weight off and all that stuff for medical reasons, actually.
Sure.
And then Mike's coming. Oh, man. All right, if we go to Home Run Inn, I guess I could have some pizza. And then we'll have to go to Portillo's, and then we'll have to go to White Castle. I can't do White Castle.
That's the Trinity. That's the 3 that I have to hit when I'm in town. It's like Home Run Inn is just that's the pizza for me. And then But the Castle and Portillo's are just, you just hit them and run. But I can't, again, I don't eat. I used to get a fucking Chicago dog, a large fry, and a combo, and now I barely eat half the combo.
But you still order that stuff. That's what,
I order a combo. I won't order the dog anymore.
Yeah,
I just can't. When she and I go, she'll order the dog, I get the combo, and I get one bite of a hot dog. Yeah, because that's all I am now, dude. I'm a bite guy. That's it.
I know.
Yeah, everybody
I've heard
knows
about it.
I just want, but of food though, I want to go. I just want one bite of everything. I don't fucking. I just wish I could do. Where did I go? Where did we fucking go the other day? And I tried to get like half of something, or I got. Oh fuck! What restaurant we were in?
McDonald's.
We went to this joint in Pittsburgh. It was called Iron City Brewing. Yeah. And dude, you would fucking dig it because the aesthetic of it was brilliant. They bought a church that was built in like 1913. And, I guess Jesus ran out of money, so he auctioned the fucking thing. And these dudes bought it and turned it into a brewery. So they have like big copper kettles and they make their own fucking beer. And then they've got a chef. They hired a real chef. So it's not like just some shitty kitchen with a bunch of fucking chicken strips. They make real food. So the reason I went there is they had a pierogi pizza. So the way it worked is instead of like tomato sauce, like they make a crust, like this amazing blister crust that they make homemade, and they put garlic mashed potatoes on instead of tomato sauce, and then they put sautéed onions on, and then cheddar cheese on top, and it's all fresh, and they bake it, and it came out. And it would, dude. No, you're making faces, but it was.
I can't. It's like once you turn that corner, you can't go back again.
Oh, dude. Well, again, she and I ate a piece each. They only would let you get a large. Yeah. We ate a piece each. We brought it. We wound up giving it to the fucking Enterprise rental car dudes because we couldn't finish it. I forced myself to eat a second piece because it was so goddamn good. But you would have loved the church because again, they've kept the church. They've kept the stained glass windows.
There's something perverse about eating stuff that'll kill you in a church.
It was so great. Like, I don't understand why they didn't bring like communion wafers as like a chips and salsa deal. Like I would have totally done it. They're not trying to be sacrilegious, but
oh, see, I would go that way. I would have the thing you pull down to kneel.
Yeah,
I'd have that down, and you don't sit. You just kneel at this counter.
Exactly.
You're always in the kneel position. You're just shoveling it in, and then when you're done, you flip the thing up, and then waiter knows you're done.
Yeah, dude, fucking gorgeous. They had the pews, and they built them out like they had the regular pews, and they built extra pews so you can actually sit and slide in behind your booth. It's brilliant, and so they had pierogies. So I wanted the pierogi pizza, and I wanted pierogies, but I know me, I could barely eat a piece of the pizza. So the waitress came over, and she was sullen. And she was terrible. She just kept like I hate bad service. It drives me out of my fucking skull. You're there, do your job. Don't be a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tip you. We're all gonna tip you.
You have high expectations whenever you go somewhere to eat.
No, you know what I want? I want you to just be friendly and nice and do what I say. That's it. Exactly. And look, I'm not. You don't have to jerk me off. Honestly, I don't. Unless I'm there for that. If I'm in one of those places, then sure, let's do that.
Where there's food
in a church.
I've never heard of those.
Yeah, no, in a church.
A church jack-off restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, dude. Why do you think they get? You turn the water into wine. They get the oil out, the sacrament. You get. Hey, you walk out of there with ash on your cock.
Oh, dude.
So,
hey, you got some ash on your cock.
So she comes out and she just. I asked her because they had pierogies and there were 4 pierogies. It was in an order, and it was like $8. And I looked at her and I go, hey, look. I go, I'm not even going to finish this pizza. It's ridiculous, but I'm not from here. I'm from Chicago. I would love to just try the pierogies. Can I just buy a half order of pierogies? No. And I was like, and part of me wanted to go, well, if you ask the chef or you ask the manager, wouldn't they rather have $5 instead of nothing and just give me a half order? It's not like the chef. It's not like they're all connected. They're all not all in a fucking bowl, or you have to make 4. If you just went back there and went, you know what? There's a guy out here, he wants to try it. And the chef would be honored because he wants someone to try his food.
You've got this whole scenario planned.
It's totally true.
Why don't you just get the 4 and just not eat them?
Because I'm already not eating the pizza. I mean, I know there's a limit to what I cannot eat in this fucking joint.
I love going in places and finding stuff I can't eat.
Why, dude? I just don't want it in quantity. And look, I'm not asking you for, you don't have to bring me one pierogi on a toothpick. I'll get a full-on half order. And honestly, the full order was like $8. I would have paid $5 for 2. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't have even eaten 2. I just want 1. I want 1 bite is really all I want, but I would have paid $5 for a bite of pierogi. But for her to just fucking stiff arm me, I'm just like, fuck you, Franco Harris. Get me a goddamn plate of pierogies. I don't want you to fucking give me the no.
Now I remember why we don't go out to eat more.
Just no. And then she walked away, and I looked at Jill, and Jill just goes, yeah, she's kind of fucking rude. And I'm like, yes, she is rude. She's terrible. Bring me my pierogies, goddammit. Do what I say.
I want it now.
I am. I'm Veruca Salt. But bring me, I'm willing to pay to be Veruca Salt. Veruca Salt wanted all this shit free. I didn't want anything free. I'll pay for your golden goose. I'll give you whatever the fuck you want for it, Wonka. But just bring it the fuck out.
You're really weird.
So how do we even spin into that? I don't know.
I don't know.
But I was here, I'm in town. Obviously, I'm here for multiple reasons, but
as always,
I went to the state fair a couple of weeks. I told you on last week's show we went out for the jalapeno eating contest, and Jill recovered nicely from that. By the way, she never got sick. Nothing bad ever happened. She was fine.
I thought she had all kinds of weird stuff going on.
She just had a hard stomach.
No, I mean, she wasn't feeling well, and
well, for months she had a bad stomach, and then she had a kidney stone, and she had
by all means, though, top it off with some jalapenos.
I think it burned it the fuck out.
That might be. Yeah, you could burn that.
She's been
out.
good now for a long time.
Good.
She was sick in March, and then she was sick for like 3 months. She went for all these tests and all this stuff, and it was all that bullshit where they're like, "Hey, there's a shadow in your colon."
Really?
Which, and by the way, that was my favorite Willem Dafoe movie.
Yeah.
So they would just kind of peer in, and they're like, "Well, there's this kind of thing, and there might be a lump, and we're not sure about this."
Whoa.
And that thing where you go again, it's that thing where you hit WebMD, and you're like, "You may have diverticulitis. You might have mumps." I mean, we can't figure it out.
Might have an ass cloud.
But it turned out that she was fine. Everything turned to be out okay. She was in just a lot of pain for 4 months, and that just scares the shit out of me. Again, because we're all progressing. We're all getting older. She's a lot younger than me, of course, but still, as she gets to be older, and I don't want her to go away. I'm just like,
you don't.
I really don't.
Okay, good.
No.
That's good to know.
Are you saying that as if I speak in a way that I think that she would go away the way I talk? What are you saying?
No, I'm just kind of touching base with last week's
reiterating that
Dr. Phil's that segment we had where everything got weird.
I don't do
I don't either. I blocked it.
Yeah. So I want her to be well. And she's one of those people who how do I put this?
Eats a lot of jalapenos.
Well, that too, but also she has the disposition of a 1920s captain of industry.
Okay.
Who feels that he never has to see a doctor and he's never going to die. You know, one of those dudes?
That's what Vince Lombardi did.
Yeah, just basically he's just going to be like, I'm fine. And it's just, there's an axe in your shoulder. I'm fine.
I've had worse.
Yeah, like Jill's just a Viking. And I'm like, I don't understand why you won't go to a fucking doctor. I mean, it just, because she and I are both controlling type of, she wants to help me and I want to help her.
Yeah.
But the difference is I want to be helped. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Tell me what to do because I'm dumb. But I'll say to her, like did I talk about the peanut butter and her foot? Did I talk about that?
She dropped the thing on her foot.
No, it's a sex story. Did I talk about the peanut butter in her foot?
You didn't?
You want to hear that?
No, I don't.
Oh, God, I do.
I'm good.
I want to relive it.
Yeah, I know you do.
So she broke her foot. And then
and you told her, was that one of those deals where she's like, why bother? They're just going to tell me it's broken.
I got a broken toe. It's fine. It'll heal.
But she's right, though. There's some things.
Yes, except for the fact that she broke her foot. It wasn't just her toe. And then she's walking on it. We're doing these long. And I mean, dude, let's put it this way. We're FaceTiming.
Yeah.
And she goes, here, honey, take a look at my feet. And like her feet are fucking hot. All right. So I'm on board. But then she turns it around and it was like she had one unbelievably gorgeous foot and one Saturday morning cartoon foot. Like
she had the Big Trouble in Little China exploding Japanese guy foot.
Like I waited for her to cross her legs so I could see the cast of Monty Python on the sole of her foot. I mean, it was like that kind of that giant, ridiculous fucking squashing of a foot. I mean, and I'm just like,
was it like my ankle at night I picked you up after Val's baseball practice?
Yeah, dude. That fucking weird. Like it looked just like a goiter. Like just this fucking. Oh my god.
It looked like a goiter.
Yeah, and so I said to her, I'm like, oh my god, your foot looks like Ozzy Osbourne's neck. Like what the fuck happened to you? And she's just like, oh, yeah, that's what happened with the peanut butter. And I go, well, are you okay? She goes, no, it really hurts a lot. I'm like, you should probably go to the doctor. She goes, I'm fine. And, it hurt. This is her thing. I don't want to lose my summer.
And
I'm like, because they put her in a cast. She's like, yeah, I don't want to lose my summer if they put me in a walking boot or a cast. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of Mike Love bullshit that is. I mean, seriously. you got to get in your little deuce coop and get your foot looked at there because you can't walk.
Yeah, there's two sides. You can either go too far one way or too far the other way.
But she powered through it, and her toe is still crooked, and her foot is still swollen to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been fucking 6 weeks or whatever the fuck it's been, but she's just like, she powered through it, and that's who she is. I don't need any help.
Well, if you've ever been really injured, you kind of get a gauge for your pain, and all right, this is doctor visit, and nah, this is nothing.
Well, I always get I gave birth to 3 kids.
Yeah, you
know
can.
what I mean?
Yeah,
and her none of her labors lasted more than 30 minutes.
No.
And again, she's 5 foot tall. She weighs 96 pounds, maybe.
That's Ava.
Exactly. I'm serious.
Ava.
She's probably the same size.
Yeah.
And she's just like, but none of her labors. She's like, my labors are totally easy. She was out of the hospital the next day.
Yeah, they usually kick you out.
And she said her friends are all like, I can't believe you. Like, why are you? Because she was up and around. She was fine. And so that's her gauge for because again, she's just that I'm going to do it, and nobody's going to tell me that I can't.
Well, remember the time you came in for the interlude, I rolled my ankle right before I had to pick you up, and Kristen kept saying, your foot's broken.
Yeah.
And even you go, dude, that's looking scary. And I kept saying, I wasn't doing it to be like a tough guy, just like, no, I just think it's a high ankle sprain. There's no, I know pain, and this is not anything that's worth an emergency room visit. And sure enough, Kristen kept telling me and made me go in and have it looked at. And the guy took the X-ray and he goes, "Yeah, it's a high sprain." I go, "I knew it. I'm just here because my wife made me come in. I don't know. I know it wasn't hurt."
Well, because I don't here's the thing I don't understand. Yeah, look, you know it's your foot, your body, your pain level, but her insurance deductible is like 4 cents.
Yeah.
It's like, just go. I mean,
No.
if my hair was parted the wrong way, I'd go to the hospital. You know what I mean? If I had that kind of insurance, just to make sure they looked at it and thought everything was all right. I mean, when I had insurance, I went there once because I had the spins. I'm like, hey, do me a favor. Something's wrong with me. What's going on?
I'm kind of dizzy.
Yeah, look at my head. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Because if you got the insurance, why not use it? But her logic is just like she doesn't want to pay interest on anything. She doesn't want to pay a deductible. She's fine. She's like, I'm good. My slate is clean, and I'll just make it work. And so good for her. So we went to the fair, and so she mastered the jalapenos. That was fine.
Yeah, and the rock stomach went away.
Right, and then we were going to the fair later on because.
You returned to the fair?
We returned to the fair. We should have gone a couple of days, honestly, but I lost.
To see if they changed the pigs that were racing.
Dudes.
All right.
Are you trying to even get in the face of ham bone and pork chop?
I'm just curious if it's the same pigs that race all the time.
Those dudes were, you know what? Those dudes were wearing overalls, and it was like 95 degrees, and I don't get overalls at all, but especially not in that heat. Like, I don't understand overalls because it's just, to me, it seems like you're giving a ghost a piggyback ride all day long. You know what I mean? Just that weird feeling on your shoulders of it hanging on you. It's like, dude, I'll buy a belt if I want my pants to stay up. I don't need to fucking strap them over my shoulders. I'm not an astronaut.
Oh, a onesie. That's kind of like a onesie.
Yeah, well, fuck, I'm not Jerry the King Lawler, all right? I just want to go out and enjoy my day. Jesus Christ.
So you go back to the fair.
So we went, and I had an agenda when I went. I was like, because we didn't get to see the goats the last time. We saw pigs.
There's a list.
Dude. Well, because I said, right, they have internet goats.
Yeah,
She's
you
like,
wanted the hoppy,
I wanted
jumpy.
those dudes who jump around and hit people on the head. And I was like, I'm in. But we had to go because we were going to a concert.
At the fair?
David, it wasn't just at the fair.
You saw the Wonders, didn't you? Wait, it wasn't at the fair?
It was Hair at the fair.
Hair at the fair?
Yes, sir.
Was it a production of the play Hair?
No.
How can people be so heartless? It wasn't?
Is that from her? Is that from Hair?
Yeah, easy to be hard.
I wouldn't know. I would have no idea about Hair. All I know is that's where Signs is from, correct?
Science?
Signs. Everywhere the signs.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Fucking up the scenery.
I don't think so.
Can't get in my mind.
No.
Do this.
Don't do that?
Can't you read the signs? No. I think that's from Hair, right? Or is that from Godspell?
I don't know.
Or is it from the Fantastics? I don't know.
I think it's from the Aristocats.
It could be. So she bought tickets for Hair at the fair. Now, she had said to me...
Let me guess.
Okay.
All right. If it's not Hair, the Broadway musical,
It's
Hair,
not.
is it an 80s day? Like a 80s flashback
I need
thing?
something more specific than that.
More specific.
Something more specific than 80s Day.
Oh, hair band.
Ah,
Yeah, okay.
80s Metal Day at the fair is what it is. Why are you groaning? Don't pretend, dude. Don't tell me that you like Buddy Holly and a fucking guy playing a broom.
Yeah.
And you can't get down with Lynch Mob. Don't tell me you can't do that.
I can't.
The show Hair at the Fair featured 4 bands. Well, it featured 3 bands. Well, it featured 2 bands.
It actually featured 8 bands all playing one band song.
Stop your nonsense. Shut up. All right, so it had 4 bands. But here was my favorite part on the ticket. It said Hair at the Fair. And I was telling you this, when she mentioned it to me, on the same day in California, like first I'll tell you who was at the fair here. Who was at Hair at the Fair? Headlined
Quiet Riot?
by Dee Snider of Twisted Sister.
Of or with?
Of.
Oh, no.
That's right, solo.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, no, who else do you want from Twisted Sister at the show,
I
really?
actually don't know the other guy.
I used to live in a building with the guitarist from
That's
Twisted
right.
Sister,
Remember,
okay?
yeah,
I don't need to see JJ French show up.
French.
And their drummer just, here's where you know like the bands are getting older. It's like they're literally their drummer just died. You know what I mean? So you're like, all right. So I don't want.
All right, Dee Snider, that's a big deal. All right, I'll give
Dee
you
Snider, that's a big name from the 80s.
If you're at the fair, yeah.
Yeah. So Dee Snider, and if you're in Milwaukee, Dee Snider's a superstar for exactly. And especially when it's literally Dee Snider or fried cheese. You're like, you know what?
What kind of cheese?
Oh, fuck, cheddar. Gotta go cheddar. They should deep fry Munster because they had cheese curds. So Dee Snider of Twisted Sister is your headliner.
So there's a tent at the fair for a concert.
No, there's a grandstand, friend.
Ooh.
Yeah, because that's the thing. All week long there were country bands.
Yeah.
And dude, here's my favorite thing. Up on the thing, I looked to see who was there all week, and it was like, someone named Brooks, of course.
Yes.
I'm sure that dude's there. But on Tuesday, Carl Walenda's kid walked across the fair on a tightrope.
Was that how he was billed, Carl Walenda's kid?
I think so. Yeah. But it made me laugh because I looked at Jill when I saw the sign. I go, because you had to pay to see it. You had to pay for a ticket. And I go, the only reason you're there is hoping he falls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but
into the pig races.
Right. But it's less exciting than NASCAR. Because again, honestly, the pig races, I'm there for the accidents. I mean, let's be honest. You're just waiting for some swine to tumble and take everybody else out. And you're just waiting for a curly tail to go flying into the crowd, hit somebody in the eye. So we're there at the and Carl Walenda's kid. He's just walking across. You got to buy a ticket to watch him walk across.
Is it existing lines he's walking across, like where the tents are?
Well, I thought this is what I said to Jill. I go, dude, is he walking over the park?
Yeah, no,
like over the fair.
Yeah.
So then you can just sit there and munch on a fucking corn on the cob and stare at Walenda's kid as he goes over you.
There's a dude up there.
Yeah, but no, you had to go into the grandstand and they set up a long wire.
Okay, yeah.
And then he just.
So high off the ground was it?
He's probably like, I got to be 15 stories, right?
Oh, okay.
He's 150 feet in the air, I guess.
Yeah, all right. So there is some danger. It's not like he was inside a tent.
No,
20 feet off the ground.
Well, no, well, even 20 feet, I would. If you put alligators underneath it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine anybody buying a ticket. So then we're sitting on the couch at home on the day, and she gets breaking news on her phone, and it's like, you got to watch Walenda's kid as he walks across the fucking fair. And I'm like, oh, man, really?
Breaking news.
That's what it was in Milwaukee. That's breaking news. So she says, use our app to watch it. So we go in and we're sitting on the couch. We watch it. We turn it on. And there's Walenda's kid. He's up on the platform and he starts to walk with the pole.
Yeah.
And she's so cute. She's like, what does the pole do? And I go, I don't, I'm on the couch with you. I have no idea. I go, I guess it's for balance and wind. But he's got it over his shoulders too. And look, I will say this, at its crux, walking on a skinny wire all the way across the fucking, at all, even walking 5 feet on it is unbelievably hard and challenging.
Yes.
But watching it is boring as fuck.
I would say yes, unless you've seen Carl Walenda fall to his death.
Well, it's funny, as we were sitting on the couch, she's like, he gets about a third of the way past, and she just goes, oh, this is just it? This is what's happening? I go, yeah. I go, all you're doing is waiting for him to fall. You're hoping. I go, I'm just waiting for like a crow to smack him in the face. You know what I mean? Just fly across. Dude, if you were a bird, wouldn't you just do that? Wouldn't you just fuck that guy up?
Hey, check this out.
Yeah, because honestly, you fly over the fair earlier in the week and you see Walenda's kid on the wall. You're like, oh, I'm going to totally gank this up.
Yeah.
And that's breaking news. If a crow flies into Walenda's face and knocks him off the goddamn wire, that's perfect. But he had an earpiece in, and this was so weird. He kept talking to somebody back at the headquarters, and it made me think.
What's he talking about?
Well, that's exactly it.
I'm going to fall. No, I'm not. I'm going to fall. No, I'm not.
I'm fine.
Okay, thanks.
How's the wind over there?
Over.
Wind over here is pretty good, Roger. Because he's just walking on the fucking rope. I mean, what's he telling people? I don't get it. Hey, my socks are tight. Should have worn my other shoes. Oh, this is slippier than I thought. Hey, I'm way high up here. What are you talking about, Walenda?
Isn't this how Grandpa died?
So he's walking halfway across, and finally Jill just looks at me and she goes, this is pretty boring.
Yeah, it is.
Like, fuck yeah, it is. And we're watching it on a phone. But that's, again, the magic of the world. We're on a leather sofa in her house watching Carl Walenda's kid walk 200 feet off the ground, walk on a phone. We're watching it through a phone. And both of us are like, let's turn this shit off. And she goes, if he falls, they'll let us know. That's what she said.
Breaking news.
Yeah, that'll be breaking news. It'll come through.
He fell.
So we turned it off. I couldn't deal
That's
with
how
it.
crazy we are. We turned it off right in the middle of his walk.
Didn't care. Figured he was going to make it. And if he didn't make it, we'd hear about it later. So I looked at her and I go, hey, and she goes, what's the deal? I go, well, people fall. She goes, they do? And I go, yeah, you want to see his dad fall or whatever it was?
That's horrible.
And she just goes, no.
Yeah, you do.
And I go, no, trust me. And I started to YouTube it. And she goes, I'm not even going to watch it. Like, don't even pull it up.
You have to tell her it's not gross. There's no splatty yuck like
I tried
Looney
to tell her,
Tunes.
but I also wasn't going to force her to do it. But because I will tell you, I don't know if did I talk about this on here? I don't know if I did. Did I mention the ISIS thing?
No.
She looks at me one day.
The cartoon?
No.
Like it was on after Shazam.
No, ISIS is the crazy Muslim dude.
Oh, I thought you meant the.
No. She
Saturday
looks at me
morning.
one day and she goes, honey. And what? And she's like, did you see that ISIS video? And I don't even know where she would even. I just went, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? She goes, well, there was a news story. And they were talking about these, like, what ISIS was doing. And so they had a clip and it said, you know, they warned you, don't watch this. It's pretty graphic. And she watched it. and the thing is, she thought she was going to see one thing.
Yeah.
She saw like 8 things that ISIS did and filmed and they put it out. Because she saw like a greatest hits of ISIS. She didn't just see.
Compilation.
Yeah, like a hit and run deal.
Yeah.
And there were no monkey bars. It wasn't like the dudes training on the monkey bars.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
put out those tapes anymore.
No.
They do a bunch of dudes with shock collars getting their heads exploded. Like, I mean. And she watched it, and she's describing it to me. She's like, there were these guys, and they were in a tank, and they put them underwater, and the camera was under the water, and you watched them drown. You actually watched them drown. And then the cage came up, and they were dead, and they showed them. And then they had these guys, they led them out, and they were all calm, and they had these collars they were all hooked up to, and they detonated it, and all their heads blew off. Like they blew into the sky, and they died. She goes, they took these 2 guys, and they put them in a car, and they sat them in a car, and there were 4 guys, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. And then they shot the gas tank and the car exploded and you could see them writhing around and screaming and trying to get out of the car and they couldn't because they tied them in. And she finishes talking and I'm looking at her and I go,
Yeah.
you won't even watch the UFC with me. She goes, but honey, I go, honey, you won't watch people fight. I try to get you to watch my fights. What are you watching the entire ISIS clip for? Well, I just started watching it and then I was kind of fascinated because they're not even fighting them. Like they have these collars on and then they get in the cars willingly and they get in the cages. I go, well, no, nobody's doing it willingly. They've resigned themselves to their fact. They've probably broken them mentally. And then I realized I'm talking about a terrorist group with my girlfriend in bed. Why?
Well, that shows you that Batman had it all wrong. I mean, the bad guys in Batman, they would always be notorious for leaving Batman and Robin to die, but in some crazy situation that they could obviously escape from.
Yeah, giant magnifying glass.
Yeah, see?
Giant clam.
These guys are doing it the right way.
Well, sure they are.
See,
but
I'm saying the strategy can work.
Conversely,
these
guys are not fighting Batman.
All right.
So are you telling me that these guys would be able to put Batman in a shock collar and he'd just be like, oh, well, whatever?
No, I'm just saying this is a higher quality of bad guy.
Well, certainly, but they're also fighting a lower quality of superhero if they're able to put him in
okay.
shock collars.
Yeah.
You're not going to get
saying
Batman in a
Batman's
shock
not gonna
collar.
go in the shock collar?
No, he's not, because you're going to push the button and what, his head goes off and then the cape goes flying?
Yeah.
You know what, if you want to put a guy in a cape and a shock collar, I got a name for you.
What do you call that guy?
Jamet, possibly. Go ahead and load him up and just the whole place will smell like pork chops when he's fucking finished. Just roast that motherfucker. You know what? Do me a favor. Put him in the cage, drown him, take him out, and then put the shock collar and blow his head off, and then put him in the car and set him on fire. That's still too good for Jamet.
You know where Jamet can't play? Hair fair.
Oh, dude.
Because he has no hair.
Not anymore. He didn't have it in the beginning, for
Yeah,
fuck's
I know.
sake. So Dee Snider's your headliner. Second on the bill is your Lita Ford.
Oh, okay.
Your Lita Ford, who is your metal girl from the Runaways and that stuff. And then in your third slot is, and this is the band I'm there to see, by the way. Because when she told me about
Dee
this
Snider
show,
not good enough for you.
well, Dee Snider, I'm fine.
Okay.
You know, if that happens,
Yeah, but
that
that
happens.
is you. You're the middle act. You want to see the act that everyone else is kind of like, oh, we're here for Dee Snider, not me.
No, I'm here for Kicks.
The cereal?
Well, certainly kids like Kicks for what Kicks has
Yeah,
got.
I'm saying if they had a band, that'd be pretty cool.
No, I'm there. There's a band called Kicks from the 80s that you don't know.
I don't.
But I'm there to see them because they've probably got like 8 really great songs. They had one really good album. I want to see what they're all about now. Because again, usually those bands are just piecemeal. Now it'll be when they say it's Kix, it's like the drummer from Kix, and then he's got his son playing bass, that bullshit, and you're like, dude, I'm not on board with that. By the way, I do know I just described Van Halen. Fuck everybody. But yeah, man, I wanted to see Kix more than anything because they were to me, I'd never seen them live. They weren't ever really big stars. They were good. They were big on MTV for a while. And then your opening band is Lynch Mob. And but the running joke with Jill and I was when she got her tickets, she printed them out, and every bill and everything, it would say Dee Snider of Twisted Sister, Lita Ford, Kix, and Lynch Mob. So I was like, "Are we ready to see and Lynch Mob?" That's who I called them. That was their name from now on. Literally,
is that Lynch? What's his name?
It's George Lynch.
Yeah, George Lynch,
the guitarist from Dokken.
Dokken. Okay.
Yeah, and then he actually left Dokken when he was going to strangle Don Dokken with his wig.
Yeah.
And went solo and did Lynch Mob, and then he wound up being back in Dokken for a while and whatever the fuck.
Is he currently in Lynch Mob?
He's still in Lynch Mob.
Okay, because that would be weird if he wasn't.
Mob has left.
All right.
It is, but George Lynch is
still there. You got a new
there.
Mob.
Yeah. So we get there and we're at the fair. I show up at the fair on Saturday, and I just want to eat a bunch of fried shit too. I wanted to get there early, but we did not get there early enough to eat a bunch of fried shit. However, we did see Goats. The first thing we did when we walked in.
Oh no, Goats! I thought that was another '80s hair band. Sorry.
Goats was not there,
right.
But Goats were there. So we walked into the barn, and dude, the life of a goat, man. You know what they do? They lay around, they eat hay, and they get their balls shaved. Like that's basically it for goats. And I was like, this isn't a bad life.
It's kind of like Saturday.
Yeah, and it's just, they're showing the goats, so because they're all going to do the thing, so that's why they're shaving their balls or their teats or whatever the fuck they got hanging. But the funniest thing to me is these people, they own the goat, but when you're shaving the goat's balls like constantly, doesn't the goat really own you?
Yeah, pretty
much.
much.
When you think about it. Because he's just sitting there with this look on his face. I swear to God, I saw a goat just grin, like just bust out a big smile, like, yeah, look at these balls and look at them getting shaved. Get back there, Amanda, and shave my balls.
My balls.
But we walked through the barn, and there weren't any internet goats.
They got to be little. Don't the little ones do that
we
hockey
saw some
stuff?
They weren't so active, but they were loud. Dude, we saw a goat, like this one lady like kind of leaned over to look at a goat, and her husband was there, and the goat, he was a 3D goat. Because the goats were all in their pens and they're doing that shit, but this goat was like yoink, and he slid his head out between the bars and chomp, he bit a dude's shirt.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Right in the zipper.
If I was a goat, I would go to work. Debbie wasn't even in the pen.
I know.
So we walked through and we looked at the goats. And
Wait, is this all pre-show?
Oh, of course.
So you don't go there just for the concert. You didn't get there right when Lynch Mob takes the stage. You have to go.
I got to revel in the fair.
All right.
So I walk around. Plus, I wanted to eat fried stuff.
Yeah,
when Jill ate jalapenos, I didn't get to really eat anything. I ate the deep fried peanut butter and jelly, which was great. But then we get there, dude. They had this fucking place that had deep fried stuffing balls.
I'm going to ask you a personal question.
I can't wait to hear it.
Did you throw up at the fair?
No.
All right.
No. Well, I didn't get to eat enough to throw up.
All right, good. I'm just checking on you.
Well, the first thing we did when we got to the fair is we went and saw my good friend Brian Noonan.
That's right.
I hadn't seen Brian in a while, and he was in WTMJ's Talkquarium, and he had texted me because Jill had posted a hair at the fair on the Facebook, and he's like, "Come see me." So we went, and we hung out with him for like an hour and a half. Walked him out, and then I went and got deep fried stuffing, and then we went to the show. And as we were walking, we heard Lynch Mob take the stage. They hit the post right at 7. Like they started right at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, he's punctual.
He doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
So we're walking, and there's all this security all over the place. I guess they're anticipating a full-on 80s raging crowd who's going to go, but they don't realize, in the 80s, we would have had a mosh pit.
Yeah.
But now we've got a shush pit. Like literally we're all old people.
My hip hurts pit.
We just want to sit the fuck down. So I come around and they make us go, they wouldn't let us enter through the grandstand. We had to enter through the front. We walk in. We give the tickets and we walk. You know that you have that moment where you walk into the stadium, like when you walk into a baseball stadium, you see this endless green.
Yeah, everything opens up to you.
So beautiful.
And there's nothing like seeing. For me, a concert was seeing the equipment.
Yes,
got me going. You see the glare, the cymbals, and you're like, wait, yeah.
And you can see like they have that black drop cloth over the banner that's going to come down. Yeah, it's perfect. So we come walking into the area, and it's just a kind of a grandstand with like metal bleachers.
Course.
And then there's the
heavy metal bleachers.
Oh, certainly. And the main floor is just chairs, and they're tied together with zip ties.
Metal chairs.
But when we come around the corner, dude, there's there might be 100 people in the grandstand.
Yeah.
And this is a place that probably would hold like 9,000.
Ooh.
So Jill looks up and she just goes, honey, oh my
We
God.
suck.
And she goes, there is nobody here. And I go, well, yeah, it's hair at the fair. I mean, what? And she goes, I saw Hart here last year. She goes, we were so far down, we could only see the video screens. Like
Yeah.
it was so packed, you couldn't move. And I said, well, yeah, that's Hart. That's,
Yeah, there's a difference.
That's Ann and Nancy Wilson. That's not, Steve Whiteman and George Lynch. That sounds like a law firm. You know what I mean? Fuck. So we walked in and we found our seats. And Jill, when she surprised me with the tickets, she bought 7th row. Like she's not even fucking around. And then when we find our section, it turns out 3 of the rows are gone. They had to make room for like the security people to be like kind of a. So we're in 4th row.
Wow.
In section 4, just off to, we're on George Lynch's side. We're on Lynch.
Yeah.
We're Lynch left.
Yeah.
We're stage right, Lynch left. Actually, no, we're Lynch right. Stage right, Lynch right. I don't fucking know.
I don't know what you're
We're
saying
on George
anymore.
Lynch's side. But Lynch Mob had already started by the time we got in. And one of the things about these bands, when you get there, you have no idea what they're going to look like. You don't know what they're going to sound like. It's just a crapshoot at this point.
I do.
You're buying nostalgia. No, you don't. See, that's
Okay.
that. We're going to get into that.
All right.
Because you're just buying nostalgia. You're buying a
Yeah,
ticket
you're
to
going to
your
see-
childhood. And you're just going to revel in these old hits and you're going to make it happen. You hope they give you a credible performance and bring you exactly what you're looking for. It's not even exactly, just a reasonable facsimile of the thing that you love.
Yeah.
So Lynch Mob is up there, and it's George Lynch, and I don't know if it's the rest of the dudes from Lynch Mob. I couldn't tell you who was in Lynch Mob. I liked Dokken a lot. I was rocking with Dokken. I like chicken with Dokken.
Yeah.
And sure enough, right in the middle, they busted out The Hunter by Dokken, which was great. But also George Lynch looked amazing. He looked like a mechanic, first of all, you know what I mean? Because he's just older and he's weathered and he's tan. But they would do that thing where they close up on his hands during the solo. And let me ask you this, as a guitar dude, do you like that or do you hate it?
Hate what?
When on the video screen, when they just zoom in on the hands. They don't show the band. When the guitar solo starts, when they zoom in on the guitar and the hands working the neck and picking.
I don't like the big screen. I really don't. I very rarely look at the Jumbotron at a concert. I can't. To me, that's pointless. If I'm going to be watching a screen, why am I even in the building?
Understood, but sometimes they get angles and they get in close, and you can take a look over there. Well, the point is at the metal shows, they always zoom in on the hands.
Yeah.
And even at Van Halen, they didn't. You know what I mean? They didn't do it a lot. They showed the band on the big screen. But I was like 20th row at Van Halen, and I don't. I'm a blind guy, so I sort of need to look at that thing. And it's neat. Again, I like when they show the hands.
Oh,
so I'm wondering,
yeah.
as a musician, do you want to see the up close?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, stop with the hands shots. We don't need to see guitarists playing anymore. And it's like, fuck no, you actually do. That's the deal.
But whoever's directing the Jumbotron, that's who I always have a problem with. They never shoot the thing out. They never show the thing I want to see.
Right.
Like, you ever watch when Michael Jackson would be performing, they have like 1,000 cameras on him, switching angles left and right.
Yeah.
And whenever he would pop or lock,
They cut away.
They would cut to a different angle.
Yeah.
I go, you have to have that camera from the front fixed for that to look as. No one wants to see the moonwalk from 3/4. No, you have to see it from the front.
Exactly.
That's what I hated, is when they would do that kind of stuff. Or the other one it's famous for is the Who. I love John Entwistle. They hardly ever show John Entwistle like back earlier, like around the Woodstock era and the Isle of Wight concert that they did. He just was lost. It's all Pete and Roger, and then Keith is going crazy. And even like during the solos of My Generation, show John Entwistle.
Yeah.
He's like part of the band.
It's ridiculous.
We should probably go to the other disc.
Really?
Yeah. I told you, man. Sometimes you talk and time goes by.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-year-old boy, the legendary Johnny Mathis.
Banana underpants, fish bicycle.
Disc 3 of 3. Hopefully.
Okay.
We will see. So we're there, and I should tell you this before I dive into the bands. When we walked in, and Lynch Mob was on stage.
You're there at the hair fair.
Right, and they're carving it up. They're doing their thing. They're
lynching it up.
They are all in shape. I should tell you this. All of them are like George Lynch is in great shape, and his fucking arm. You know, I will say this. And remember, when I said he looked like a mechanic. Mm-hmm. I mean that sincerely in his arms and his hands, because he's a guy who's essentially worked with his hands his entire life. Yeah. But whether playing guitar or building guitars or whatever, but you can see it in his fucking, ripcord steel forearms and his weathered hands. And I actually found myself being jealous of the vascular and yoked George Lynch as he was playing. And I'm like, dude, that guy, because his arms, his hands just looked fucking awesome. He looked like he had man's hands. You know, that thing where they're kind of old and but his veins are coming through and you can see his fucking finger bones and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? No?
Actually, I don't.
Okay. All right, well.
I have woman's hands, man.
Yeah, well, you and me both.
If I have Phyllis Diller, maybe. If you're talking about her, I can identify.
Diller Mob was not at the show. So we get there and we find our seats, and we're in like seats 1 and 2. And anytime you go to these shows, the bands are obviously who you're paying to see.
It's who you're paying to see.
Yes, but you are also getting a special pass. You don't use it when you buy the ticket. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go to this concert and see these bands. But you're also kind of getting a pass. You're buying a ticket to a Carnival Freak Show exhibition.
You're talking about the audience.
Oh my God, dude! And again, it's that thing where we look at one another, and I see you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see you, the same you I've seen forever. You're getting a little, to be like your dad, a little bit in the face and all that stuff. And you still got your lady hands, and you still got the same hair. You got that bad ankle you should get fixed. Have you heard about that ankle? It's terrible.
I fought through it.
And I mean, I still kind of look like me to me.
You're a drastic change. If somebody saw you that remembered you from high school, they would go, wow, you look completely different.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That different?
Oh, yeah.
Well, because I had that big winged fucking hair back then, which was like all feathered.
Well, after you had the surgery, your face shrunk.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
Not everybody would be able to say, "Oh, that's Mike," if they saw you without that extra high school face meat.
So they're actually at the show. They played before and Lynch Mob.
Yeah, they came on right
extra
after.
High school face meat.
Yeah.
So I saw myself in the rearview mirror the other day, and I looked like Andy. My brother Andy. I mean, I really looked like him, and I was like, "Whoa, that's fucking."
See, I never
weird.
thought the Schmidt brothers resembled each other, like really closely. They all have their own. Like you guys all look. You don't look similar.
True, but we all look like Lenny, Glenn, and Scott look like my dad.
Okay.
And me and Andy look like my mom.
Okay.
But we also don't all look alike at all.
I would not. You and Lenny, I could say, oh, those guys are brothers, but I never thought you looked a lot like Andy or Scott.
We're mutts.
Glenn, yeah. Glenn, I thought you resemble a little bit.
Here's proof. My nose is cold.
It is. Who saw Old Yeller?
Who didn't cry when Old Yeller got shot? Nobody cried when Old Yeller got shot.
I cried my eyes out.
So we're looking around as we sit down. We sit down, and there's that strange melange of people. There are the people who, and I said this to Jill, and it's kind of like it reminded me of the Juggalos show I did. These are people who live their lives, they have their kids, they work their jobs. And then when these bands come to town, they're able to go, oh yeah, that's who I used to be.
Yeah.
And inside me, I'm still that. Even if I have kids, even if I have a job, even if I've got other responsibilities, this gives me a 4-hour window to be who I used to be, who I want to be, who I still think I am. So some people embrace that, and they come there, and you just see them, and they're having a good time. They're dancing, and it's easy to make fun because we did. Jill and I looked around, and there were people who can't dance who are grinding on one another, and there's those people who get that platinum hair and they got it flying, and they're 55 years old.
Their nostalgia manifests itself different ways. Some people go in the clothes they would wear normally and just enjoy the show. Other people gotta feel like they gotta dress up the way they used to. And you're right. Maybe they don't see themselves the way the rest of the world does,
or maybe they don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Because I tried to kind of walk a thin line.
Let them do their thing. Right?
Because we were laughing at people.
Oh,
we clearly were. Because then there's the other people. A group of 5 dudes. We're sitting there, and it's when Lynch Mob's on. 5 dudes come down, and they purposefully decided to be ridiculous. So they
like meathead ridiculous or ironically ridiculous. Like were
I
they
think
hipster
a little
guys?
bit of both.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they weren't hipster guys at all. It's Wisconsin, dude. There's not a
Well,
hipster
I mean, their
in sight,
version of a hipster.
unless you're in Madison. No, they were the guys who probably still crush beers every week together in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
They were like a group of us. Like they were the Wisconsin the UN of evil. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They were just these 5 dudes who showed up, but again, they took the joke too far, like that
Yeah,
kind
they
of
didn't
thing.
know when to stop.
Right. I told the story on here, like when I went for Halloween once and I dressed as a woman. I dressed as a mom and I wore like a house coat and slippers and pink rollers in my hair to work at Little Caesars. And then we had a bunch of people calling sick and I wound up working a 12-hour shift in that outfit. So I had lipstick on, I had the whole fucking night, and I'm helping people, and you feel like a dumb fuck.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're very self-conscious where you just go, Jesus Christ, this was funny for like a second.
Now I'm in a dress.
Yeah, and now you've got to totally live up to it, and unless you embrace it, you're going to feel fucking stupid. So these 5 dudes come walking down the aisle, and one goes by me. I should say, Jill and I are just sitting there, and this one dude walks by, and he's got purple zebra pants on, zebra print pants, a tight white frilly button shirt like that you would see David Coverdale wear, a vest that was too small. He's got a blonde wig that goes past his shoulders. And he's carrying a beer and he turns around and he's like, metal! And he puts his horns in the air like the headers. And he's got thick mascara around his eyes. And I, I was like, all right, well, that guy is doing this. And I wonder if he's trolling everybody. He's just from the fair, but he had to pay to get in. So I thought, well, that's an interesting choice. And until when he turned around and went, metal, you hear these guys go, yeah. And 4 more dudes walk. They're him. He's got 4 friends with him, all dressed in 80s outrageous, purple. And I don't, to the point where I went, where did you find these clothes? If they had them in their closets for this long, it's fucking amazing. This dude had like a purple lame shirt. And then he also had the heavy mascara. Another guy put heavy rouge on his cheeks, and they're all wearing like big wigs and
Sure, they weren't
headbands.
pirates?
They could have been all sparrowing out.
Yeah, you might have been invaded.
But they were yelling metal and putting their devil horns up, and then it's that thing where they're walking around high-fiving everyone because we're here for metal, woohoo! And what's going on is they're embracing it, but also lampooning it. And then there are people there giving them dirty looks because they're like, hey, I fucking
don't
love
make
this.
fun of this.
Don't make fun of this thing that is my life that I love. Because then there would be dudes who you could see it was their opportunity to be themselves again, to go ahead and be the person they thought that they were and they wanted to be. These guys, there were dudes with hair past their shoulders, and all those dudes, in the old days, they looked like the band members. Yeah. Now they look like the roadies.
Yeah,
clearly,
exactly.
because they got that receding hairline and the fucking long scraggly blonde hair and their carny shoes. Absolutely, and they got fucking big silver earrings and they're wearing their spiked wristbands. And this wasn't even like a metal show. These bands are that pop metal from the 80s. So these guys, Lynch Mob was stretching it. They're a little, they might be a little heavier than these other bands. But everybody else, fucking Lita Ford and Kix, they were fun metal. So you couldn't get, literally, like that's how I term it, because it's funny, because I'll listen to stuff, when we listen to satellite radio, there's channels 38 and 39. 38 is Ozzy's Boneyard, 39 is Hair Nation. Hair Nation is always Motley Crue, Poison, Bon Jovi, Great White, those types of bands, Kix, like that, that's those bands. Ozzy's Boneyard will mix in Metallica and Motorhead and Iron Maiden. And whenever that comes on, Jill will look at me and she goes, I don't like this. This music is mean. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so now whenever I hear a song like Metallica come on, I'll turn it up.
Yes.
And I'll go, do you think this is mean? She goes, yes, I do. She goes, you like this, right? And I go, I actually do. I really like this.
I prefer that.
Like the things I prefer, Tool. Like that's the things I want her to hear.
Yeah.
I want her to to hear the really mean music I like. Like I tried to get her to listen to fucking System of a Down, Sugar. Like I tried to put the earbuds in her head and Toxicity. And she's just like, no, I don't need to hear that. And I go, no, you do. Trust me. Just, you got it. And she goes, well, if it's mean, I don't want to hear it. I go, but it's aggressive and rageful and angry, but also tuneful and great.
All the things women like.
Sure, they do. They're on board. If you like me, you like that. So I said to her, I'm like, but she won't. She doesn't want to hear System of a Down. I haven't gotten her into Tool yet, any of that stuff. But she'll hear Metallica on the radio, and I'll turn it up, and I go, "Is this mean?" She goes, "This is mean." She goes, "This is you. This is what you like, right?" And I go, "Well, I like everything." I go, "But yes, I do."
No, you don't
this.
like everything. You don't like Buddy Holly?
Well, I said music. I'd like if Buddy Holly would have Lars Ulrich on drum behind him, with that fucking weird snare.
Little thing.
Let him try to keep up with that. Let him try to keep up with the fucking syncopation. Just that's what he sound like. Buddy Holly would sound like a cartoon rabbit running. Lars Ulrich and Buddy Holly. That's what it sounds like. That's the soundtrack. So
we're off to Neverland.
So I said, I'm like, these dudes walk in, and you could just see that weird demarcation. Like they were having fun, but also making fun. And other people are there to have fun. And then there are people that are just drinking, and they're just kind of. There was this. And there, I would say, it's so much smoke. There were so many people smoking.
Well, there were probably guys there that actually follow the band and like them now. They're not there. They're not there in a nostalgia.
No, they're on board. And
then when you see the purple guys come in, you're like, hey, you guys are making fun of this. I've seen these guys 3 times this year, 4 times this year. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a weird demarcation. And I said to Jill too. I should tell you this: when she bought hair at the fair, she told me about it. There was a show, a live Cat House show in Irvine, California, the same day, because this was Saturday. So every band that was not at Hair at the Fair was playing in Irvine Meadows at the Cat House show. Fucking Sebastian Bach and Dokken. And I mean, all these big time 80s bands, like LA Guns, like they were all there. Cause I had said to her, I go, hey, you should fly out and we'll go to this. And then she's just like, cause that would have been fucking amazing. It's outdoors and it was all day. It's like fucking a 12-hour deal. And then she's like, well, they have Hair at the Fair. And she surprised me with tickets. She had already bought tickets for Hair at the Fair. I was like, dude, I love you. Cause I didn't, again, I assumed she was a country chick. I got to go on the record here. She doesn't like country music. Like she likes some of it, but when it's in the car, she's listening to the Hits One station or the road trip radio. Like she doesn't want to hear country anymore. She goes, it all sounds the same. I can't deal with it. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Do you feel like your relationship is somehow lessened if you don't enjoy the same music? Like, do you feel like she needs to be on board with you? Like you want her to listen to Tool, you want her to listen to these things? Because that's one thing I've learned. Kristen and I'll never have the same musical taste. There's crossover stuff we like.
Yes.
But it's not, I don't care if she's never,
No, it doesn't lessen the relationship. It would be cool. You know what I mean? If I was like, hey, check this out.
But if she doesn't like everything you like musically, it's not like a bummer to you. Like it doesn't drag you down.
No, not at all.
Why doesn't she like Tool?
Dude, no, because honestly, she shouldn't like Tool.
Yeah, I was going to say,
she's a grown woman with kids. She's not going to be sitting there listening to Stinkfist. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine her being on board with it. But to me, when I hear it, it totally changes everything. And I love that style of music. So it would be, granted, whenever we go to the hot tub or the pool or anywhere, we bring her iPod. She plugs her phone in and she plays it because I'm on board with what she likes. You know what I mean? There's a bunch. She'll apologize. Like we'll go to the beach and like 4 country songs will come on in a row. And she's just like, I don't even know why this is happening. I got it on shuffle.
Because she's afraid you're going to throw it into the ocean or something.
Well, I came around on a lot of the country stuff, but then she's got some stuff where I just go, she's like, country sounds the same to me. And I'm like, well, a lot of the shit on your iPod completely sounds the same to me.
That's how I am with this, what's called hair metal.
Right.
When that was big, I was like, I don't like it.
Let me ask you this, but you can recognize the musicianship and the talent of a George Lynch. Like you can hear him, even though he's playing a style of music you don't like, you recognize that George Lynch is a fucking maestro, correct?
Yeah, there's a difference though with me. In terms of guitar, listening to guitar players, I have a preference. I can admire somebody like Yngwie Malmsteen, is that his name?
Oh yeah.
From the technical aspect of being able to play that fast and shredding. That's a big word that came out with metal and shredding. I was never a fan of that. To me, Eddie, that's where that is, ends and stops. Stops, begins, ends, everything's with Eddie.
Yeah.
As far as that style guitar playing. I enjoy listening to Randy Rhoads. I admire that.
I got to tell you this. I have not, I got into that mode where Ozzy would come on and I would turn it off right away. because I've heard it. You know, that's that thing. It's like I am with Boston and people like that. I'm like, fuck, they play the same shit. I don't need to hear it. But literally 3 weeks ago, I'm in the car and Crazy Train came on, and I've always just automatically turned it off.
Yeah, it's
so
Stairway.
This time I turned it up, and I turned it up loud, and I was reinvigorated by Randy Rhoads' guitar playing and astonished. I remember back, when we were kids, I always had this mental block about Randy Rhoads because I was an Eddie Van Halen guy.
Yeah, and here's a guy that's taking Eddie's.
Well, everybody used to say, "Oh, if Randy hadn't died, he would have been so much
better."
But
No.
guitarists aren't fucking sports teams,
No,
so you can look at it differently and hear it. So I appreciated it for what it was, and I mean, it is brilliant when you hear that, and even Flying High Again, all that kind of stuff. You're just like, Jesus Christ! But Crazy Train, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I heard it again and I turned it up and I was like, whoa, so you can hear that. You, as a musician, can hear it and go, yes, this is really great. I
admire that. I admire the ability the way I would admire a concert cellist or somebody that's mastered their instrument. As far as getting pleasure out of listening to it, that's not for me. I like a more soulful approach to the guitar. I like Clapton. I like David Gilmour. Less is more. Like, to me, I'd rather hear the solo from Comfortably Numb than I would, Lynch, shredding 1,000 notes per measure. To me, that it's not. It's everybody's doing that. All that music kind of started to sound the same to me.
Right? Can you appreciate it? All right, let's ask this: regardless of genre of music or style, can you appreciate a hook?
Yes, a well-written song is a well-written song, and if the melody's there. And it's properly produced and put together. I shouldn't say produced, but if the song is properly performed, it crosses all. A good song is a good song.
Well, this brings me to Kix.
Well, I don't know Kix, which means they probably didn't have a hit.
They had. Now
I'm not talking about an MTV video that was in high rotation, because even back in the day at MTV, if a video like if Kix came on, I'd turn the channel.
True. The closest they had, well, no, you would not have heard Kix on the radio. Certainly not the radio you were listening to.
But they would have had a video.
They had monster videos.
Guys, we've got a video.
They had, they have a song called "Blow My Fuse," which got a lot of airplay. But then "Cold Blood" is the one that got a ton of airplay. That's a faster, kind of like metal, fun metal pop metal song.
Not as good as "Cold Sweat" though.
Much better than "Cold Sweat."
Never.
No, I'm teasing. We're not talking James Brown versus Kix. Okay?
Yeah, we are.
If you want to mash them up, feel free to go ahead and do something like that. But for me, "Cold Blood," the hook of it is great. It's just got this, like the da 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 da. Like if you heard it, you'd just go, "Oh, that's a hook. That's right there."
You want it? I think one of the reasons I couldn't stand that hair metal era is because they weren't songs I could sing along to, because most of those bands, their singers were all tenors, way up there.
So high.
I don't want to. If I can't sing it in the car, I don't want to sing. It's just annoying. It all started sounding the same,
Well, see, the difference between me and you is if you can't sing it well in the car, because I can sing the fuck out of Kix. I can totally, dude. They Cold Blood. I could just, the second it starts, I'm just like, yes, let's do this. And it's got that, that if you want blood, it's easy. If you want blood, cold blood is all you need. You got to hear it.
All right.
Dude.
Well, you tell me, who in the metal genre, who is considered to be like the lead vocalist of all time? I've heard people say Rob Halford.
Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson.
Yes, but I don't
Ronnie
consider
James Dio.
I don't consider those guys in that hair metal genre. I consider them to be metal. To me, metal I like.
I see.
I don't like hair metal.
Okay, so you're looking for hair metal guys that would stand out and be the.
And they don't, because it's like they're all like up there,
right.
like it doesn't appeal.
But there's a different, if a guy's doing that in a weird operatic faux metal singing about dwarves bullshit, then yeah, I can see where that would drive you crazy.
Yeah.
King Diamond would drive you out of your fucking skull.
Yeah. And I know it's not considered, would you consider Bon Jovi hair metal?
Yes, I would.
I can't stand Bon Jovi singing.
Right.
This is what good of it's so nasally and bad, and it's just
Union's battles die. He's down on his luggage time.
Now Richie Sambora, I like hearing him sing.
Oh my God! But Steve Whiteman of Kix. Let's talk about that for a second.
This Kix thing. What is this?
Well, because you know why? They're a band who I was like, I have never seen them, and I wasn't a guy. They were just that kind of the B string of bands, of hair metal bands, but they had great songs. Like you were saying, radio hits and stuff. Like I said, "Blow My Fuse," "No Ring Around Rosie." These are, they were standard metal songs. But then they had a song called "Don't Close Your Eyes," which is a ballad, which is their dream on.
Bang, boom, bang. What is it? The syncopated piano? Bang, boom, bang.
Yeah, and it's fucking amazing. Yeah, and it's great. I don't want you talking shit about Kicks,
because it's every rose has its thorn. It's
no,
what's the other
dude,
one?
it's got the wind behind it.
What's the one where they're on the road? Is that Poison?
Well, yeah, they have every rose has its thorn,
and then there's another one that
give you something to believe in. There's that one. Motley Crue has Home Sweet Home. That's what you're thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking of. It's the.
You know that I've seen too many romantic dreams. Yeah, dude.
Ooh, I like no hair metal.
Don't close your eyes, though. You got to give it a chance because it's just
it's not like I never heard it,
but it's clearly, like you said, ding dong, ding dong, ding, and then
ding.
there's like a wind behind it. What you doing out in the nighttime? I can't even. Won't you call me on the phone?
You're
his
convincing
voice
me.
is way high up, dude. I'm sure I'm not.
Yeah,
but I don't care.
That's selling me on that.
They were great, dude. They came out and they were fun and funny.
Yeah,
and they embraced it. They didn't come out. They wore real clothes, but they looked like they were on stage. They didn't wear fucking wristbands. They still have their hair. I would tell you, that was the key thing about hair at the fair. All of the bands, and Dee Snider even made the joke later. He goes, hair at the fair. He goes, unbelievably, all of us still have our hair. Because they did. Every single band. Kicks came out. Steve Whiteman is 58 years old, Dave.
Yeah.
58. And there's got to be clips on YouTube of him now out there singing and jumping around. He's fucking skinny. He's built like a Coke straw. But he's one of those dudes who's just hopping around and totally thin. And he's a showman. He brought fun. He brought energy. He looked, the sun is still out. He comes out after And Lynch Mob. They open up with No Ring Around Rosie, and they fucking they did Midnight Dynamite. They fucking just cranked it. And again, Midnight Dynamite is exactly the song you would think of. Midnight Dynamite, all the same stuff. You hear them, but they have those 4 great songs that have great hooks. And he would, in between songs, he was a front man. He would come out of this, he would go, thank you. And people would cheer, and he goes, no. When I say thank you, you say you're welcome. Thank you. And the whole crowd has to go, you're welcome. And he did it all show long.
Engaging.
Yeah, and it was great. He would go to them, and he would talk, and he would ask them questions, and he would, flirt, all the weird front man shit, but he brought it in a fun way, to the point where Jill, I got my arm around her, and I look at her, and I go, this is awesome. And she's like, yeah, this is really great, because he's jumping around, he's energetic, and he can still sing. Because he's way high up there.
Yeah.
And they've changed it, obviously. They had to a little bit, but he's still pushing it, and he's not cheating on the notes, and he's wailing it, and the people are singing along. This is the second band. Like I said, the sun is still out. And then he comes out and he goes, yeah, we got one more for you. He goes, can you fucking believe it? One more? 35 minutes, and you are fucking done. Like, he made a joke about it. But they killed for that 35 minutes. They sang their hits, and
I'm sorry.
Laugh all you want. Hey, dude, if you think Buddy Holly singing into a goddamn megaphone is that's fine.
Now we're taking extremes.
No, not. To these people, all right, let's put it this way: to the 100 people in the grandstand and the packed floor, that was the hits.
Yeah,
that's what I came to see. And I actually looked at Jill when they finished and they ran off stage, and I looked at her. I go, you know what? I said, I would wear a Kicks concert shirt.
Yeah, I can see you.
And I wouldn't do it ironically. Like, I mean, I would give them $20 or $30 to wear their shirt, because they fucking came out there. They played over, and again, I'm old. So I don't need an hour. I don't need a drum solo. I don't need any of that bullshit. Just come out and do your thing and fucking, and they did. They made it fun. They made it lively. They were energetic. And I'm telling you, if you would listen to these songs, if you would hear like either Blow My Fuse or Cold Blooded or fucking Cold Blood, I apologize. Or I can't say it.
Cold Blood.
Whiteman's listening. Dude, if you did Cold Blooded, however, that'd be fine. Or Don't Close Your Eyes. You know what? Fuck, dude, you would like them. I'll bet you would like those songs. I'll bet you would recognize the hook at least. That's the thing.
Yes, I'm not going to... I don't care for the genre, but I'm not so close-minded that I don't recognize when
you recognize a hook.
I recognize a well-written song.
So I'm willing to bet if those weren't hair metal songs, if they were in another genre, they were something different, if somebody took it...
Yeah, because you guys all did that. When you were working at that, did you ever name the record store you worked at? Because
yeah, disc jockey. I think so. Yeah, because they're out of business. So
statute of limitation. Well, there's a good reason they're out of business.
Yes, there is.
But you worked there with UN of Evil member Chris.
And Unit of Evil member Dennis.
Was Dennis at the same one?
He left right when I got there.
Evil Dennis's younger brother is Chris. He's a year younger than us.
Yeah, and Tommy was there.
Tommy S?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Brian.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guys that you've talked about before, you all worked at the disc jockey, and you guys are into the same stuff. Chris loves Rick Springfield.
Yeah.
You love Rick Springfield. Chris loves what's Aldo
Nova?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Brian
like
liked
Aldo
Aldo.
Nova.
There was
Yeah.
these weird, and I would just make fun of you guys, but then I was the only, I was the outsider. I had
Sure.
weird taste then. So
Well,
the
it's like
majority
Jeff.
of the UN of Evil listened to the same stuff, because when Def Leppard came out, which was our senior year,
Yeah.
the UN of Evil was
Well, Pyromania was played at every party.
that is
every
the UN of
party.
Evil's band,
Yes.
and I couldn't stand them. And the funniest part is, if you ever seen the behind the music of Def Leppard, they talk about a concert from Chicago that was the pivotal part of their early career. That
I was
turned-
at it.
So was I.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember watching the story, the behind the music, going, I was at that show.
Yeah.
They opened for Billy Squier.
Yep.
And the place
At Alpine Valley, right?
No, it was indoors.
Or no, I saw them at Alpine Valley too later with Gary Moore and Crocus.
No, a
But
whole
yeah.
bunch of Bolingbrook people went to go see
Right.
Billy Squier, and with Def Leppard opening, and it was at the USC Pavilion. It was an indoor
Yeah.
place. 83, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that. And it was a very famous concert. And I remember being there, and I recognized the moment. I saw that this band was breaking,
Yeah.
huge, and I couldn't stand their music. I couldn't
Yeah.
stand it. I didn't like it. I just can't.
But you
there's
got to
a
recognize
sound
the
to it.
hooks. You got to recognize that because again,
A hook is one thing, but here's the problem I have with
Mutt Lang made them. You
Yes.
ever hear the stories about how they had to sing for hours and
Yes.
hours and hours? He made them. He basically created that album in the studio.
Yeah.
It's a pop varnished product, is what it is.
That's what I did not like. I don't like overproduced,
You don't like
super
sheen.
clean, gigantic harmonies on a metal, what's supposed to be a metal song, where everything sounds so compressed and there's just a sound to it. And then it becomes successful. And Def Leppard, okay, they're great. But every band that came after that,
Yeah, then
which
they jump
evolved
on.
into hair metal, is the same formula, and I can't stand it. It's all the same to me.
And it's funny. I'll bet if you heard Def Leppard's "On Through the Night," the first album, or even "High and Dry," you'd go, "All right, no, I like this," because there's songs like "Wasted" and stuff like that where you'd go because they don't have that
Yeah.
sound just yet. They didn't get because he came in and he poured syrup all over them.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, it totally it made it
created
completely-
a whole genre of music which I didn't like, and I was an outsider because at the time I was listening to. Now here's the other thing: this is around '85. You're still in Bolingbrook High School, and the rest of you and Evil has moved on to college. I still live at home because I'm going to art school. Now going to art school, downtown Chicago, I got a whole different education of music, and these guys were listening to like what's considered art house music, and
Yeah.
there was some crazy stuff they were listening to. But it opened my mind to like, just because I don't like Def Leppard, there's other music I could listen to.
Yeah,
and
well-
I found some weird,
It's interesting because I
alternative
would, I loved rap. I mean, I loved it the second
Yeah.
I heard it. And also when I was with Jeff, when I would be with, with Jimmy O or those guys,
Yeah.
we'd be listening to Def Leppard.
Yeah.
But in Jeff's car, you listen to GCI. We
Yeah.
would listen to GCI all the time. So, I mean,
That's why Jeff and I hit
so
it
I knew
off.
about
Yeah.
Midnight Star and
Yeah.
bands like that. And I'd be like, oh, okay, this is awesome. You know what
Plus,
I mean?
we were
I love
oldies
that.
guys. We were oldies guys back then. Jeff
Yeah.
was the only guy that I knew that liked the Temptations.
Right.
He was the only guy I knew that knew who the Four Tops were.
Yeah.
That listened to Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and I mean, I loved all that stuff.
See, but to me, it's funny. You mentioned hair metal and how it can all sound the same. Well, that's how I feel about Buddy Holly and rockabilly and all that kind of stuff. I recognize the genius in being the
Yeah.
first, but
Yeah.
then hearing it now, it's like I said, hearing my old shows where I just
Yeah.
go, "Fuck, nobody wants to get I want to bump my wife off so I can marry you." I mean, that's the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
oldest conceit ever. And with those bands, this thing. I'm like, I get it. You were the first to do it, but it's lost its charm for me. It's old. It's over, and to me, it's a dead form, and I can't find life in it anymore.
Yeah, but you've often said that you take those old school comedians who aren't funny, right? And I agree with you. But do you like Don Rickles?
Well, yeah, he's a genius.
That's my point, is that sometimes you have to go back and see, whoa, wait, this was 1956. This is
Right.
1957. This guy is writing songs that are better than anything that's been written in modern day in terms of the simplicity of it and you see where the genius is. That's what I like, is going back and recognizing genius after you've been exposed to it forever. It's like you said, listening to Randy Rhoads. You know, who wants to hear Crazy Train? You've heard it a million times. It's
right.
on.
It's in commercials now and stuff.
But wait a second, you hear it in the right context. You're like, whoa, wait
it blew me away.
Yeah.
It fucking blew me away. And here, you know, it's funny, and this is great because we'll use Buddy Holly as an example. There's a great scene in the movie that gets your point across. When he's at the roller rink, when I say you can see genius, and you can see, and you just go, oh, that's genius. When he's at the roller rink playing what he's told, and then he decides, fuck this, and I'm going to play what I want, and you see everybody respond to it and stuff. Cinematically, that scene is so brilliant because it shows you he was the first, and he was new, and he was a genius because he was able to harness that and bring it to the masses and get and touch a place in people that had not been touched yet.
It's like that famous thing with Elvis. Elvis went into the studio with Scott, Bill Black and Scotty Moore on bass and guitar, and they've been trying to record different things, and it wasn't going good, and they started to screw around when the recorder wasn't on, and they started playing what was blues, rhythm and blues, a song by Arthur Crudup, That's All Right Mama.
Yeah,
that's African American song. It's a something you wouldn't play on the radio. They start doing it, and all of a sudden the guy that runs Sun, what's his name, Sam Phillips, goes, whoa, whatever you're doing, let's do that. And they recorded it, and you know, people will say, rock and roll was stolen from the black culture, but that's the first time it was okay for this dude came along at the perfect time. Here's the face that's gonna bring in rock and roll. I think that's genius.
Right.
That three dudes are screwing around and they invent rock and roll. I can't see how that becomes dated after 50 years or whatever, 60 years. I still think that's worth noting, and that's why I prefer that era of rockabilly. I don't care for rockabilly.
Yeah.
But
let me ask you this. A hook is a hook is a hook, as we've established.
Sure.
A great song is a great song.
Yeah, and you can tell because when it gets remade in a different genre, if it's still great, it's going to be great.
See, but what I like is when an artist can take a song that might not be in his way, and he can interpret it in a way where you just go, fuck, I never thought of it that way. You know?
I hear every once in a while I'll hear that, like
because you can hear guys chili dip it too, like because Elvis will do like he can do some a Mac Davis song, or he can do, and you just go, well, that's great, because it's kind of written in his style anyway. But then you hear Elvis absolutely ruin Bridge Over Troubled Water.
See, you say ruin. Simon and Garfunkel thought it was awesome.
See, yeah, I don't, because I think maybe because they had stars in their eyes and they're like, Elvis is doing our song.
Yeah.
But his version is completely inferior to theirs, and honestly, almost embarrassing when you hear him do it, because he didn't get the vibe of the song. He just kind of did
he was just a singer then. He wasn't breaking any ground. He wasn't doing anything.
He did a straight ahead version of that song without getting any of the nuance in it.
Yeah, it was just, he did that a lot, and that's why I don't care for that genre. Mostly because his fans became blind to him.
Well, they let him do whatever he wanted.
And they keep saying, oh, Elvis has got the greatest sing. No, he doesn't. In the 70s, Elvis did not have a good singing voice. You can say, oh, he sang, these songs beautifully. Yes, he is a great singer, and but towards the late 70s, right before he died, you hear his voice, and it's just wavery and unsteady. Listen to Burning Love. That's an actual studio recording, and his voice is all over the place. It's all uneven, but that's why everybody can. Why do you think 9 out of 10 Elvis impersonators do the 70s era Elvis? Because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's way harder to go back and try to sing like a 22-year-old truck driver who, admittedly, he was trying to sound like some of the black singers he liked in these vocal groups.
Right.
That's why I like it.
So Elvis, like I said, he can take songs and make them sound great, and he can also ruin them. So any artist,
dating is a game that the grown-ups play.
Oh, dude, don't even.
That's the era you like.
Monkey business.
That's your '60s Elvis. That's scare him.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to hear the movie songs. But I mean, I like the hit songs. They were great.
Clam bake, gonna have a clam bake.
Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some pigs. E-I-E-I-O. And if those pigs got out of line, bacon and sausage and ham. Literally from the movie. That's the line. If those pigs got out of line, bacon and sausage and ham. Oh my God. The Colonel, literally.
Meanwhile, the Beatles are recording Sgt. Pepper.
Well, exactly. Well, there's not even instrumental accompaniment there.
Yeah.
All you hear is Colonel Tom opening a cash register while he sings that. That's it. That's the musical accompaniment. So a guy can make a song and a guy can break a song. Here's my challenge.
You're saying Kix or one of those bands.
No, I'm saying this.
All right.
Mr. Music, the guy, as I've mentioned, who runs all of the music for this show.
Yeah.
The guy behind the guy behind the guy. You've not heard these Kix songs.
No, I couldn't even tell you.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. Because I will give you, where are we at on the disc?
You got about 15 minutes.
All right, then let's talk a little bit more before I throw this in your lap.
No. If you're going to make me do something.
No, fuck it. You're going to wait. You're going to totally wait. Dude, if I come here and I'm recording, we're doing it my way.
Yeah, but you're going to put me on the spot and I'm going to have to play a song right now.
No, you're not going to do anything live.
All right.
I'm going to give you homework.
Oh, dude, I got to edit this. Well, I don't have to.
I edit the fucking show. You don't do a goddamn thing.
I got to do a painting of, what am I doing a painting of? Elvis?
Elvis. What do you think? I have no idea. My mom getting banged?
Yeah.
That'll be good. Literally, what if it was just a Latin guy with two ankles by his ears? Oh no! And a hand holding up my report card. That's awful. That's awful, and yet I want to see that painting. God damn, that'll be great. All right, I got homework for you, but let me talk about this because we don't have. This is a third disc, and I got to fill this third disc.
All right.
So Kix comes out and they're fun and they're awesome, and Jill and I are just like, this is really great. And I said I would wear their shirt. I would totally dig them. So then the crowd starts to fill in, and it's more people smoking, and people are progressively drinking, and they're getting drunker. And there are, and I will tell you this too: these people, they bring their kids. And
yeah,
it's like we talk about how we loved Elvis because our parents loved Elvis. Well, you can see these kids, they have the world in their pocket in a square, so they don't have to listen to Kix if their parents do. They can just put in earbuds and listen to whatever the fuck they want. So these poor kids are sitting there, and you can see that they're miserable. There was a family of four in front of us, two of them, and the family. It looked like they tried to make it fun because they all painted their hair pink and blue and stuff. But the two kids just sat there, and I should tell you, the kids, they looked like they would rather be at a grandstand eating fried food because they were giant kids and just sullen and sad and miserable. And they didn't care for the bands. They wouldn't stand up. They just didn't dig it. And their parents also did not stand up because they were also fucking houses.
See, that's the thing. I've noticed the opposite. I've seen people bring their kids to see Rush, and the kids are into it. Like your buddy, like our friend Chris.
Yes.
You talked about those satellite radio stations. His sons, who are now teenagers, they listen to hair metal. They love,
because that's their dad likes.
See, that's why I don't understand. These kids don't like.
Well, I'm only talking about two particular kids.
You just happen to see this family.
Because other people had brought, like there was one woman who brought her daughter, and you could see clearly that the daughter.
They both liked it.
Yeah, the daughter was there to have a good time.
Yeah,
she had her
cool.
Spring Break '94 shirt on, and but I will tell you this: in L.A., it's much different. Because I told Jill, I said, look, if you were in Los Angeles, it would be 15,000 of these people.
Yeah.
Because the grandstand only had like 100 people in it, and the main floor was full. There was probably only I would say there was probably 1,000 people at this concert, maybe less. Might have been 800.
I've played for 800.
By the end of the night. Exactly. I got 800 more than that listening to this, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
And I'm not Steve Whiteman. I'm not jumping around in my red jeans. So Kix was great, and then Lita Ford is next.
Okay.
And Lita Ford comes out, and I heard guitarist was a guy named Patrick Kennison. I want to look that dude up.
He was wailing.
He was really good. And then he also sang the Ozzy part on Never Close Your Eyes Again, or When I Close My Eyes Forever.
Battle?
Oh my God, yes.
I get a feeling.
Well, the thing is, Lita Ford starts playing, and Lita Ford to me is the weak link in this show. Because I knew I knew And Lynch Mob was going to do some Dokken stuff. All right. But Lita Ford, I know two Lita Ford songs.
I only know one.
Well, solo stuff, there's two songs. But she was in the Runaways, which is fucking awesome.
That's
like if,
to me,
if she came out and just drilled some Runaways stuff, that would be great, and I'd be on board with it. But she came out and she did her metal thing. All right. Yeah. So she comes out, and musically and her voice sounded good, and they sounded great, and she can play guitar. But Lita Ford is kind of like hair metal or metal for dumb people. What the hell? Is that me? You hear that?
I think there's a Balrog down here.
I don't know what that was.
That might have been the air conditioning shutting on and off. And yeah, our basement's gotten weird lately.
I think my voice just made the Kessel run in 12 parsecs. That was a noise I've not heard before. So Lita Ford is kind of metal for dumb people, in my opinion. Okay, because her lyrics.
Yeah.
And I know you're like all metal's for dumb people.
No,
ha,
I
ha.
don't. I wouldn't say that.
Wait
I'm just
for your
saying
homework.
I'm lyrically.
Well, lyrically, to me, like, her biggest hit is "Kiss Me Deadly,"
That's the one I know.
and literally the words are, it starts this. I mean, this might be the dumbest song of the metal era.
You forgot Kiss.
No, dude, dumber than Kiss,
Dumber than Ted Nugent.
dumber than Ted Nugent. This song.
All right.
She comes out to the microphone. It's like, the music starts, whatever. And I went to a party last Saturday night. I didn't get laid. I got in a fight. It ain't no big thing.
She didn't write that though. Isn't that a remake?
No, that's her song.
That's her
straight
song?
up Lita Ford. Yes.
I thought that was a cover of somebody else's song.
And it's like, late for my job and the traffic is bad. Had to borrow $10 from my old man. It ain't no big thing.
That's not so bad.
But I know what I like.
You?
I know I like dancing with you. And I know what you like. I know you like dancing with me. And you literally, it's that rudimentary. It sounds like a group of fifth graders played Mad Libs and put that fucking song together. Because then the second verse is also, she's like, I went to a party last Saturday night. I told you that story. It'd be all right. Literally, she repeats the first thing with it. And then it's almost like she forgot she wrote that lyric. And then she sings it again and goes, oh, yeah, I told you that story. It'll be all right. Yeah, it ain't no big thing. It ain't no big thing. I just forgot my song halfway through and had to write the fucking verse again.
But at least it's rhyming. It's telling a little bit of a... All right.
Chimps rhyme.
All right.
They do.
I played...
Why do you think they go, ooh, ooh, ah, ah? Those rhyme together.
I played I Am the Walrus by the Beatles.
Yes.
For Val. And he looks up at me and he goes, how high were they when they wrote this song?
Look, I get that.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? It's like
I am he and you are we and we are.
It's art. If you really put a bunch of jumbly, crazy words together, you're this artistic poet. But if you just write a simple, he, she, moon, swoon song, you're
and
simplistic.
I understand. Maybe that reached people who carried lunch pails. I don't know. Because she had
tits.
Wait,
did I just
literally
take the metal side on this
Lita
argument?
Ford had tits. Yes, you did. But that was her whole deal. That's why she got famous, because she was a blonde with long hair. She used to be in the Runaways, and she was attractive at the time. So she comes out and she did this thing. Nobody's familiar with her catalog. Literally, like, no one knows anything. We know those two songs and we know the Runaways.
I only know the one song.
So she keeps playing songs and they're just generic sheen metal. She looks, and finally at one point she goes, this song is called Hungry. Hungry.
Twice?
Hungry for your sex. And I just go, ha ha ha! Like, I laugh to the point where I startled Jill. People heard me over metal guitars. I laughed so loud.
Did they think you really liked sex?
I don't know. They thought I was hungry, certainly.
Yeah.
But she goes, because she said it 3 times, hungry, hungry, hungry for your sex. And the way she said it was like she was trying to be sexy, but it was awful. So I laughed my ass off, and Jill looked at me and I go, come on, that's stupid, right? That's just dumb.
Yeah, there has to be a top 10 list for worst song introductions ever.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't want Jill to think that I thought the show was dumb.
Yeah, you just wanted to make fun of that.
So
moment.
I smile at her. I go, listen, that was ridiculous, right? So then when she was singing, like, because then the literally the chorus is like, hungry for your sex. So Jill would look at me and I'd go, hungry. Like, I make this face and I go, for your, and I turn my head and sex. And I turn and look at her like I was this bad Casanova, and she's laughing at me. And it just, because I go, this is ridiculous, right? It's terrible. Because all of her songs were awful. And so she was trying to get it, because nobody knew her catalog.
Yeah,
okay?
so she's just trying to entertain the crowd.
Well, no, she's trying to get, she thinks I'm Lita Ford.
You
should love
okay.
me. So she keeps introducing every song, and she'd go, this song was co-written with Nikki Sixx. And people would cheer, and she'd go, from Motley Crue. And people go, and she goes, come on, people, you know Motley Crue. So she's looking for cheap heat. Yeah. She's like a wrestling heel who's just, by mentioning her friends, thinking that she should get us on board.
She didn't bother telling that Nikki was dead at the time.
No, half dead, certainly. That was before he was resuscitated. He wrote it when he was under.
I wrote a song when I was dead.
Yeah, and Lita Ford took it. That's how bad her songwriting skills are.
Some people can't stop
So he plays 3 songs.
smoking.
3 songs she's in, and finally she kind of stops and she looks at the crowd. She goes, all right. She goes, you know what? This is State Fair. And everybody's like, woo. And she goes, this is Wisconsin, which is more cheap heat, and people cheer. She goes, I was told you people were going to be loud and crazy. What happened to you? And everybody kind of goes, whoa,
Wait.
woo? Wait, are you? And she goes, I need you to really start to get on board here. You guys really got to start liking these songs. This is metal, and this is what metal's about. And everybody's like,
Boo.
yeah. No, they kind of like, yeah, okay. I mean, and
The old woman's yelling at us.
well, literally, that's the thing. So a couple songs go by, and Jill looks at me and she just goes, Lita Ford is a grouchy old lady. And I laughed, and I'm like, that should be on her fucking tour shirt at this point. Because she would stop a song, and she'd go, I wrote this song with Lemmy Kilminster from Motorhead. And people go, yay. And she'd go, you know Motorhead. And we go, yeah, are they coming out? Because if they're behind a pole or a camera, then I would be fucking thrilled if they stepped out from behind a curtain. But right now, I got nothing for you. We're doing another disc. We got it, right?
I'm not stopping this train.
The Crazy Train?
Yeah, go, man.
So Lita Ford, after every like fourth song, or I would say second song, she would stop to scold us. She would change her guitar.
Yeah.
And then she would yell at us because we weren't cheering loud enough. And then she even said at one point, she goes, you know, I'm bringing the streets of Hollywood here to Milwaukee. I'm bringing the streets of Hollywood where I grew up watching bands like Motley Crue for the third time. Yay.
Hey.
Van Halen. Yeah, you guys know Van Halen. And she go, you know, you got to get crazy if you're going to be at this show. You know, let's hear it again for And Lynch Mob. And hey, then hear it for Kicks. Woo! You know, and people cheer. They go crazy for them because they were great. And she goes, yeah, we're out here to have a good time. I hope you're out here to have a good time because Mr. Snyder isn't going to take you guys sitting on your hands. And I look at Jill, and Jill just goes, I want to leave. And I'm like, yeah, so do I.
What more do you want us to do, lady?
Yeah, do you have a guitar or do you have a yardstick to hit me on the knuckles because I'm not doing what the fuck I'm supposed to, Lita Ford? Terrible. Because again, nobody knows her catalog. So then she busts out. She's like, I wrote this song, you know, on the streets of Hollywood with a little band called The Runaways, and everybody, of course, cheers because we know we're getting Cherry Bomb finally. Yeah. And she does Cherry Bomb, which of course is a great song. But even so, there was no spark and no life, and we hated her anyway. And also, dude, we're at the fucking fair. We had to go. We had to disc it. What are we doing?
We're good. You got a couple minutes.
All right, so people are going to get annoyed about it. I keep talking about the fucking blue lines, and now I don't know what disc. Jesus Christ. But she yelled at us the whole time. Like, she played her show, and she did an hour. Like, I mean, that's the thing is, you know, Kix got 35 minutes, and I'm like, well, at least Lita will get 45. She played an hour, dude. And she played an hour of completely undistinguishable metal.
Yeah.
It could have been the backing track of any fucking show in between bands. It was just not good. The only gimmick was she had long blonde hair and a fan in her face. So it was blowing, so she looked like a Valkyrie. You know what I mean? And you're just like, I don't understand it. And she'd be wearing her fucking, like, her white jumpsuit. And then she'd look up and she had her Tammy Wynette neck. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, you're trying to look all sexy, but then all of a sudden you look up and it looks like you got a bunch of grapes under your chin. Holy God, Lita. And again, she's glamorous and lovely. And I will say this, I don't mean to make fun of her, and I certainly don't mean to make fun of Lynch Mob or Kix. I loved all of them. I didn't like Lita Ford at all. I hated her. But she's a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
As much as I want to say that I hated her, she didn't bring the heat that night, or she wasn't good, or she has undistinguishable catalog, she is still co-writing songs with those bands. She still does get respect, and she was in the fucking Runaways. But the problem is, she thinks she's earned much more than she's got. She came out there and just pretended like we were supposed to hail her. And it's just like, dude, you've got 2 songs, 3 if you count the Runaways tune. And then sure enough, she did Close My Eyes Forever, and then she closed with Kiss Me Deadly, and the place went crazy for that.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing we fucking recognized. Otherwise, it literally sounded like the music you hear in Madden when you're drafting a team.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-year-old boy, Mr. Tony Bennett.
I'm gonna eat pie out of your skull, you fuck.
So as much as I'm bitching about her, as ridiculous as it was to be scolded by this elementary school teacher with a Gibson Les Paul over her shoulder,
Mean granny.
I still recognize that I did pay to get in and see her. So
No, you were there for Kicks
I was,
and Fruit Loops.
Lita Ford came along for the ride.
And Apple Jacks.
I don't understand why you're doing it. Buddy Holly is just as dumb a name as Kix, and that was his real fucking name.
No, it was Harding.
Buddy Harding?
No, it was what's his real name?
Harding Holly? I remember Harding Holly. He was in the WWE, wasn't he?
Hardcore Harding Holly.
Hardcore Harding Holly. So, but you only get what you put into it, and she wasn't Kicks. Like I said, they came out. Granted, they had 35 minutes to fill, and
Yeah, there's no way Lita Ford should have that long to play unless, I mean,
she's only, again, it's
Yeah.
just because of her name from those two songs, her collaboration with Ozzy, her collaboration with everybody. She's just that. Nobody ever went, oh my God, I can't wait to see Lita Ford. In my opinion,
she'd be considered a one-hit wonder.
well, 2 hits, because when Close Your Eyes Forever was a monster hit for her.
What's that? I don't even know what that is.
Again, it was her and Ozzy, and it was a duet, and it's one of those songs that
right.
you, to this day, they'll play it on rock radio. You'll hear it all the time. So she had 2 songs. To me, Kix had 3, but her 2 songs were bigger than Kix's 3 songs, so she's higher up. And also, she's a novelty, and she was in the fucking Runaways.
Sure,
so she was
but-
one of the first
yeah.
female rock stars, and I get it, but she seemed entitled.
Well, imagine if she has to do the same thing at every fair she plays. She's probably going to get the message eventually.
Well, I don't know. She told us, Dave. It's funny you would
was
mention that.
Just you guys in Wisconsin?
You know, I was just at a state fair yesterday. She goes, is it the fried food? Why are you guys so lethargic?
She said that?
She asked us that. She goes, because we were at a fair the other day, and they were drinking, and they were partying, and they were cheering, and they were having a good time. So you guys need to come around.
Or what?
Yeah.
You're still going to play?
Yeah. Or you're just going to stand there and get older.
Your neck's going to swing in the breeze?
So again, I'm not trying to be a feminism guy or feminist or anti-feminist or a misogynist or whatever.
Those are a lot of big words.
She was just a jerk. Literally, she kept.
Letterman.
Well, she was. She kept yelling at us.
That came out like Letterman. She was,
Well, that's
a jerk.
That's not a gender-specific insult. I want to
No,
make sure it's just
yes.
known that she was just a dick.
That performer was a dick.
She kept telling us that we were the problem, when in reality, your catalog doesn't have the cojones to bring us on board with you, and your performing skills don't either.
Yeah.
If anything, her guitarist kind of stole it from her because he was really good. He had interesting guitars.
Like all multicolored?
Dude, no, he had this fucking candy apple red, see-through plastic. You know that body
Like
that's
a
see-through.
lucite kind
Yeah,
of
it was but it was candy apple red.
Yeah.
So you could it was funny because I kept looking at him like, why? Because I thought he had a sticker on it, but it was his fucking backstage pass through the lucite
The
hanging
lanyard,
from his
yeah.
belt. And he would put, he'd put the guitar up in the air and he'd play it like that. And I mean, he was more of a showman than she was, and the bass player was hopping around. She just kind of stood in one spot, trying not to turn into dust, praying it didn't rain so she wouldn't melt. It was just so. Yeah, I was just waiting for her to send like a group of monkeys after us to fucking get and make us cheer. So she was terrible, and then she finally leaves the stage, and then. I should tell you this, man. Like I said, she played an hour. Kix did 35. Lynch Mob did it like 30. So you're almost 3
getting
hours
people
into a show.
Past people's bedtime right about now.
Certainly, the fans of that are at this show because they've loved this music since the 80s. Well,
Yeah.
now it's time to get home. It's
They
like
got to pay the babysitter.
Greg Behrendt has that as a bit about how he's old now and
Yeah.
he wants to go to a show. And he goes, I don't want to see an opening band. I don't want to pay to see your struggles. Not interested. Then the headliner should come out and you should do it like an hour and do all the hits. None of this new bullshit. And then we get to go home and I get to pay my babysitter. Exactly. It's like,
Well,
it's brilliant. It's a brilliant bit. And he's right.
Well, the funny thing, something like that happened with us. Kristen and I bought tickets to go see Prince. This had to be 5 or 6 years ago. So we had my mother-in-law was watching the kids. They were little, and we went to go see Prince at the Rosemont Horizon, or I guess it's now called the Is it the Allstate Arena now?
I think so.
So we get in. We're in our seats, and then they start asking us to leave, and it's like 10, 20 minutes before the show. And the gear's all on stage. We're ready to go. It's Prince. I think it was in the round, too. He canceled 10 minutes before the show.
Whoa.
Yeah, he canceled. His laryngitis, something came up. But the funniest thing was, when everybody found out the show was canceled, they all stood up, left in an orderly fashion, got into their minivans,
Yeah.
and went home to, like I said, to pay the babysitter. And Kristen and I just said, "Oh, all right, it's a rain check. Okay, we just, what I mean? So the difference between going to see a concert when you're 19 and you're like, this is bullshit, you throwing
yeah.
chairs and we're like, oh, all right, we all filed out in our khakis, went to dinner.
When
and-
Guns N' Roses would tour, remember they would cancel shows. They'd make people wait 2.5 hours, and then they'd
that's
cancel, and people would riot. I think it was St. Louis where everybody charged on stage and stole their equipment and broke the whole place up.
But the funny thing is that, Kristen and I just went, oh, let's go out to get some dinner. We went out and got dinner, and it was nice.
Yeah.
But the rain check was, they rescheduled the show, and he he just tore it up.
Of course he did.
He put everything into it. He even had he didn't have an opening act when we were supposed to originally see him, but when he came back to Chicago, the Time opened for him.
That's gorgeous.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's what you're hoping for. You're like, yeah, that's perfect.
He's really making an effort to make it up to everybody. It was pretty cool.
Well, because Prince is fucking Prince, dude. You know, he's not going to get on stage and be like, "Dearly beloved, this next song was co-written by Lemmy Kilminster of Motorhead." You know Motorhead, right?
You know, metal. You know, Metallica.
Yeah. She left us cold, man, and she really threw and she even kept saying at the end of the show she finished.
Yeah.
All right, she's done. And she's like, "Good night, woo," and they and then, Bobby Rock on the. Oh, I should tell you this too. Lita Ford in the middle of her fucking set, she played an hour.
Took a break.
Drum solo.
Oh.
You're kidding me. Hair at the Fair drum solo. Bobby Rock is her drummer, so she gives him a drum solo. And good for you, Bobby Rock. I'm glad you can bust the skins like no one's business. But dude, I'm not here to see a drum solo, motherfucker. I'm not.
Old ladies, they can't hold their water.
She took a powder.
Yeah.
Like she went and said,
do it faster.
Bobby Rock! This next song was co-written. Shut up! Awful.
That was the best drum solo I've ever heard.
Oh, dude, that's the same one you've heard a million times.
I think Andrew Dice Clay played that drum solo when I saw him.
No kidding, at the Horizon.
Yeah.
That's before it was the Allstate Center.
Yeah.
So yeah, she busts out a fucking drum solo in the middle of her set. We're like, you
There
are
wasn't a bass
kidding
solo,
us.
though, right?
No
bass.
no bass solo. No. Her bass solo, her bass guy was named Martin, I think, or something. She's like, I bring you the best musicians from the streets of Hollywood. Here's my bass player, Martin.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yep, that's it. So it was gruesome. It was so, and she walks off. So again, like I said, and she finishes, and she even stops. So she sends everybody off. Bobby Rock to come out and do the hands in the air, and then she's alone on stage. They're done, and she kind of waves.
Yeah.
And she takes the microphone. She goes, "I'm telling you, you guys really better soup it up for Dee Snider. Mr. Snider is not going to." And she yells at us again on her way out the door. She gives us a finger wag, and she's like, "No, gives me the Matumbo." She's like, "No, you better not. No. You guys better be there for Mr. Snider, or he's not." And I wanted to go, "What's he going to do? Bail? I mean, seriously."
Give him the dunk.
Yeah. So he's playing. That's it. You're not going to try to I don't know. It was just the worst.
Yeah.
So she bails, and Jill and I are just like, well, we had to go use the restroom,
Of course.
and because people around us, I should tell you, is during this woman she looked like she had a falcon on her head. I mean, it was just.
Like a hat?
You want to talk hair? I mean, I got because there's feathered hair and then there's
Bird.
a nest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane.
Eggs.
And she's behind Jill with like a cigarette, and the cigarette's in Jill's face, and Jill's like doing that. And again, she's tiny, so she kind of looks at me with that sad face, but also like, I'm gonna kill this fucking chick because there's still catfight Jill right there underneath the veneer. And she also, Jill, I should tell you this, she worked 8 hours on Friday nights, and then we went right to the fair. So, the show is now into its third hour.
Oh, God.
It's almost 10 o'clock, and she's like, well, we took a walk. We wanted to walk the grandstand or walk out to use the restroom and stuff. And I looked at her and I go, "Are you okay for Dee Snider?" She's like, "I don't know."
I'm starting to think I don't want to take
it. No kidding. She's like, that kind of took it out of me a little bit. And I'm like, well, look, if you're tired and you want to go home, I totally get it. She's like, we have this thing all the time where she's like, "Do you want to go home?"
I don't want to go home. Do you?
"Do you want to go home?"
I'll go home if you want to go home.
"Well, if you want to go home, I'll go home."
All right, if you want to go home, that's fine.
No, I don't really want to go home. I'm just trying to make sure you're okay.
I'm okay, but if you want to go home...
Well, no, I don't really want to go home. I'm trying to look out for you.
And scene.
So that happens all the time. And again, because I recognize, again, she's working for a living. I'm sitting in the fucking house waiting for her to get home from work. I can sleep all I want, so I want to make sure she's okay. And she's like, "I don't know, let's let's give it a song and see how it goes, and we'll see, because she goes, that was really bad. I'm like, it was.
Yeah.
So we took a walk out, and actually we saw a list. I should tell you this: when I walked into the show, I got a text, and I had no reception at the fair at all. I couldn't get on Facebook. I posted a picture of Brian. It took forever.
Yeah.
And then finally, I get a text, and it's from our good friend Dave Hansen.
From the Charlestown Chiefs?
From the Hansen brothers, who listen to this show, who I've referenced on this show many times. I went to Animal with them last year. They came out to the Podcast Fest a few years. I've seen them all the time.
Yeah.
And they're great guys. They saw me, I believe, in Minneapolis. And they may have seen me also in Wisconsin as well, Milwaukee, or possibly in Green Bay. Whatever. But they were there at the show. He texts me and he just goes, "We just saw you and Jill walk in. Oh my God." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're down here. Maybe we'll see in between shows." So when we went out to use the restroom, we happened to run into Dave. And of course I called him Ron because I'm fucking stupid. And I introduced him to Jill and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah." So I said, "Yeah, what'd you think?" And he goes, "This is great." And I go, "It is.
Yeah.
It's really great." I go, "I thought Lita was kind of rough." And he's like, "Well, yeah, you got good seats." I go, "Yeah, we're down there." I go, "You guys are up in the grandstand," because he waved at me from behind the fence. And I don't notice that he's just kind of standing in one spot, and he's kind of like dancing.
He's got to go.
Yeah, he's gonna go to the bathroom. So I'm talking his ear off all of a sudden, like, because people are always like, "I don't want to approach Mike. He's totally weird, and he's going to think I'm bothering him." I'm fucking chatting with Dave. Like, I'm like, "Yeah, so then this happened, and I had fried stuffing earlier, and I saw my friend on the radio." And then Jill looks at me and she goes, "Let him go to the bathroom." And I go, "Oh, fuck. All right, dude, see ya." And he like leaves, and she goes, "Honey, he was like shifting from foot to foot." I go, "I had no idea. I didn't know."
Like cross knee.
Yeah, I thought he was in a river dance. So I thought he was auditioning for something. I got no fucking clue.
Lord of the Piss.
Yeah, so we go walking inside, and then I look at her and I go, we were going to go back to our seats, and I go, "You want to just sit in the grandstand and watch it from there?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, I think I would," because the smoke.
Get away from that.
Well, because there was
yeah.
so many, like, and also in front of us, there were a bunch of sleeveless dudes, and they're standing up, and they're grinding on their girlfriend, and then Jill's tiny, so she's got to strain to look and stand up, and she's like, "I go, let's just sit in the grandstand. If we catch a couple songs, that's good, and if you want to go, we'll go." Did you want to go?
If you want to.
Well, no, I don't really want to go. I just want to see if you wanted to go.
Oh, I'm fine if you're fine.
Well, I'm fine, but honey,
Okay.
I know you haven't slept, and I want to make sure that you can get home and get to sleep.
I don't want to go unless you want to.
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm cool. I'm totally. We're good.
Sure.
I just want to make sure we're good.
And scene.
So we go to climb up in the grandstand, and well, first of all, they were checking tickets and wristbands and all sorts of shit. I'm like, there's 90 people in the grandstand. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, who downgrades?
So we walked in and we went to go up into the grandstand, and this woman stops us, and I go, "Hey, can we just sit up here?" I go, "I have seats in the fourth row." I go, "But we just want to sit up here." "I can't let you do that."
They won't let you downgrade your seat.
I said, "What do you
I'm
mean?"
getting worse seats.
I said, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, that's just not the way they work it."
Who's they?
I said, "All right, well, what do I need to do?" She goes, "Well, you need to talk to a supervisor."
As soon as he's done running the tilt-a-whirl.
So I walk down the steps, and there's a dude, and this guy's, yeah, he's a supervisor, but he's got a smile like somebody drove the Dukes of Hazzard mobile through a picket fence. I mean, it's just awful. It looks like
Faster?
Yeah, it looks like Porky Pig burst out of his mouth to tell me that was all, folks. So it's just a mess. But again, nice man. Sure, good for him. Needed a shower or
right.
2 or 5. But we're standing there, and I go, "Hey, look, we just want to sit in the grandstand. We're actually in the fourth row." And he goes, "Oh, we can't let you do that. We got to have permission." And I go, "Well, they said you were the supervisor." He goes, "Yeah, but we actually need to talk to a different supervisor." And I said, "Oh, all right. Well, what do I need to do?" And he goes, "Well, if you just wait, I'll call him on the radio." So he calls her, and he goes, "Yeah, she's dealing with the situation on the other side of the bleachers." And I'm like, "Fuck, am I getting into a situation here?" And she's like, "We don't want to be in a situation."
I don't want areas. I don't want situations.
And he just says, "No, it's okay. She'll be right here." He goes, "Well, what they're going to have to do is they're going to take your old tickets, and they're going to take your wristbands, and they're going to give you new tickets for the grandstand so you don't sneak back down to the floor." I go, "I paid for the seats on the floor. Mm-hmm. So what does it matter if wherever I sit in the building?" And he goes, "Well, and Jill she's just like, honey, And so we stand there, and again, she's tired, and a part of me thinks that she wants to go. I mean, I don't know if
I'm fine.
Do you think she wanted to go?
No, if you want to go, we can go.
Well, no, I don't want to go. I want to stay and see the show. It's fine. I'm excited.
Okay.
But you're good with staying?
If you are.
I am. I'm good.
And scene.
So we go ahead and head up to the grandstand. Well, first the supervisor comes, and she's like, "All right, I need you to tear off your wristbands." Like, they literally... I just want to sit in the bleachers, but I've now been kicked out of the French Foreign Legion. So... I have to rip off the wristbands, and then I have to rip off Jill's, and then we have to turn over our tickets, and they give us different tickets for the grandstand, and she walks us up. She doesn't just give us the tickets. The supervisor walks us through the thing and goes, "Okay, you're here and you're here." Like, dude, there's nobody. I got news for you. The only people in the grandstand are lost from the Heart Show last year. There's 80 people who were at the Heart Show and couldn't find their way home, and 10 people who were hoping to catch a Wallenda shoe. Seriously.
Wallenda shoe.
That's who's in the crowd. But you're going to make me sit in a specific fucking seat.
I'm starting a band called Wallenda shoe.
You have to. So we go, and we're supposed to be in seat 1 and 2, but you know what Jill and I do? We move over to 6 and 7. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Nobody tells me. It's metal, goddammit.
In your face.
Devil horns.
Take it to the man.
I don't, I'm not going to take it.
No, you're not.
I'm not going to take it.
Not anymore.
So we slide over to 6 and 7. We're sitting there, and while we were waiting for the supervisor, they're playing the in-house music.
Yeah.
And then the music dies down and a guy comes out. And I don't know if he's from The Hog or whatever, some local radio deal. But he walks out and he's like, hey, welcome to Hair at the Fair. And I'm like, welcome? You're about 5 hours late,
Yeah, how about
motherfucker.
it?
And he's like, how about Kicks? Woo! And how about Ann Lynch Mob? Yes. And how about Lita Ford? Woo! And he goes, let me tell you something. He goes, you know what? We're Milwaukee. We're Wisconsin. And everybody's like, yay, woo. And he goes, we need to represent for Dee Snider, don't we? And people cheer, woo. And he goes, so I'll tell you what, there's no quiet people allowed. If you want to get quiet, you can leave. But right now, I need you to cheer and be ready. Because I'll tell you what, Dee Snider, he's not going to fuck around.
What does that mean?
And that's what I mean. It's like, what are you talking? Is he going to leave? I mean, you're fucking joking, right?
He's only going to do half a song.
And he basically says, he goes, hey, look, if you don't cheer, Dee Snider's not going to come out and play. And part of me's just like, okay.
Later.
I mean, we'll just call this a bust then. Tell Dee to get on his fucking bus and head home. But then he finally leaves after scolding us. He's like, literally, Lita Ford sent him out to yell at us.
They're not listening to me.
Yeah, she got to go get Dad. I'm going to get your father if you don't listen to me. So he bails, and then they play. You just hear, and again, it was one of my favorite UFC walkouts, also of all time. No,
not that one. Not when Randy Couture came back.
That was fucking
Right.
Back in the Saddle was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
that's what
gorgeous.
you're gonna
That's
say.
really the greatest. But when they would kill the lights, and he only got to do it a few times because he lost the belt after like 2 defenses.
I don't know what this is.
Stand up and be counted for what you are about to receive. For those about to rock
okay,
by
for those-
AC/DC,
all right.
dude. Just because that little Angus, that
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
and it just and it's just boom,
Yeah.
and you hear the so they blare it like, I mean, it's louder than the bands have been, and it's just there's something about AC/DC at high volume that gets your fucking attention.
Yeah.
Like literally, you're like, oh, you know what? Something interesting is about to happen
Yeah.
here. I don't know where or what. I don't know what's going to happen. But you know, if Lita Ford would have just pointed at the speaker and they would have played AC/DC, everybody would have shut up and listened and then cheered and gone crazy.
She just should have lip synced to AC/DC.
No kidding.
Would have been a better show, probably.
So they play that song, and it's like there are songs that just do it. You know, when I saw Kiss, and they played Won't Get Fooled Again.
Oh, that's their song. Yeah, because then the
curtain drops on the-
and you see the Kiss logo right as the.
Dude, yeah, that was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I've very few songs do I see the crowd cheer for the in-house
Yes.
music. Like I told you when I saw Public Enemy, and I saw it was Public Enemy, and they played "The Nigger You Love to Hate" by Ice Cube.
As their. Oh,
It was in between Public Enemy and like the other bands like Digital
Yeah.
Underground, and it just started to play. And because the opening has this spoken thing where Cube gets sent to the electric chair,
Yeah.
and then they put him in the chair, and the guy goes, "Any last words?" He goes, "Yeah, I got some last words," and the crowd went, "Fuck all y'all!" They said it with him, and then it goes switch, and you hear the electric current, and then it goes, "I heard payback's a motherfucker," and people started jumping in. Dude, it's canned in-house music.
That's
And
when you know your audience.
Dude,
When you
well,
put the right music between your.
well, fucking,
acts.
because it's L.A. and
Yeah.
it was all about NWA. I told you I saw the trailer for the Straight Outta Compton movie, and I was like cheering in my seat, just like I can't wait to see this, just to hear NWA cranked up loud in a
Yeah.
building. So great.
I wasn't paying attention to that until I realized that that's Cube's son.
Oh yeah,
I think that is the coolest
It's
thing
great,
ever.
right?
It's just so cool.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, in the trailer, the scene where they show Eazy-E and they got ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, and he goes rolling down the street in my 6'4", and they stop and he just
Yeah.
goes, "Damn, Easy, that was dope." And you're just like, "Yes, it was. You're goddamn right, it was dope." And everything that came after was doper still. fucking awesome. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited. So for those about the rock plays and the crowd starts to really kind of galvanize and get into it, and then as the song's ending, the lights kill. And then you just start to hear like kind of like the band comes out. I should tell you this, the band came out before the song even died.
Yeah.
So the guitar players and the bassist are just on stage with their hands in the air while AC/DC plays, which is awesome. And then they start to fucking play. And it's so funny. This is some bands you just know what they're going to open with. And in my head, I totally knew what Dee Snider was going to open with. In my head, I'm just like, he's going to open with "You Can't Kill Rock and Roll" by Twisted Sister, because it's just "You can't kill rock and roll," and they launch into it and they start playing, and Dee Snider walks out from backstage, and he's got white, like those wrestling pants, you know what I mean, with the fringe on the side, and an ankle-length duster, like, you know, fucking white and black, and then he's got a black t-shirt on, and he just comes out, and and I go, that can't be his hair, because he still has the blonde hair past his shoulders, but the thing is, he's crowning. So he's kind of, it's receding in the front, but not a lot. It's not devastating, but it's still, but it's
He's
about
got a higher forehead than he used to.
but it's still his hair, because then he leans forward and it's at the and he's doing the head, the whip with the hair, and because I said to Joe when he walked out, I go, that can't be his hair, and then he leans forward and goes, and I go, that's his hair, absolutely, because you can see the roots, like you totally can see it, and he just launches, and dude. Again, like I said, you never know what you're going to get. It's a mixed bag, but the guys from Kix were in shape and they brought a show. And the guys from Lynch Mob were in shape, they were thin, and they brought a show. George Lynch still looked great. He's not wearing a wig or a rug. Dude, Dee Snider came out and he starts singing, and you're like, he can still sing like Dee Snider. It was incredible, because normally those guys can't.
No,
they can't push it, they can't punch it. And look, I don't know about keys and all that kind of stuff. All I know is he sounded exactly like fucking Dee Snider, and he was, just roaring, dude.
Yeah.
He came out fucking ready and pumped and yelling and running around, and then he's screaming, "You can't kill rock and roll." And then the solo starts, and Dee Snider runs away.
He says, "I've had enough of this."
Gone, runs backstage. And Jill and I are like, what just happened?
Yeah.
He disappears, and you see him back there. He starts fluffing his hair, and he takes the duster off, and he shakes his head, and he comes running back from around the drums, and he grabs the microphone, and he just launches right into the verse, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, the song hits hard. And then it ends, and it goes like, honk, and he looks out, and then they go into "The Kids Are Back," which is another Twisted Sister song, and they just fucking wail it. And it finishes and it stops, and he's just like, he looks at everybody, and he's just like, and he starts talking, and he's got like David Lee Roth. He's a showman.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah.
So he starts engaging the crowd and talking, and he's got a t-shirt and it says, "Stop taking selfies." And he goes, "Let's have a Dee Snider public service moment. Stop taking motherfucking selfies." He goes, "Read the shirt." And he goes, "If you got a selfie stick, hand it to your friends who can beat the shit out of you with it." And he starts talking, and he's funny. He's engaging. He has personality. And he goes, "All right." He goes, "The cool thing about being in this band is I can do whatever I want." And then all of a sudden, they launch into "Highway to Hell."
Oh, cool.
They just and I mean, again, and I look at Jill, and it's so funny. I feel so dumb, because you know who I felt like, and it's you know the scene in Silence of the Lambs.
When Dee Snider comes in?
Certainly. When Jodie Foster is watching the Catherine Martin press conference, and she's with the other agent,
that's really
and the
smart.
senator, she goes, "That's really smart." She keeps saying her name so he won't see her as a piece of meat, and he'll see her as a person. He starts playing "Highway to Hell," and I look at Jill and I go, "This is really smart."
Yeah, it is.
And she goes, "What?" And I go, This is really smart." And she nods, and I go, "He's playing something that they know." Lita Ford played a bunch of faceless metal that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
If he plays more Twisted Sister deep cuts, people are going to zone out. So he plays two hard-hitting songs, he does that speech, and then he plays "Highway to Hell." And it's fucking, because again, it's AC/DC. It's literally part of the trinity of metal.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like, you could think of certain other bands where you go, "Oh, if you played a song by them, I'd go crazy right now."
Yeah.
So he plays that, and it kills. He fucking destroys it, and then he stops and he gives another speech, and he's funny. And by the way, every guitar solo runs away. Goes backstage, and even for 5 seconds or for 30 seconds, he goes in the back and he flips his hair around, and I don't know if he's drinking water or taking hits of oxygen, but then he's running out.
He might not be able to, his hearing might not be able to handle the high frequency.
You think so?
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what it was, but dude, he kept going. He kept disappearing and coming back, and then the band would hold it down, and then he would run out, and then he fucking, dude, the fifth song they played, all of a sudden the drummer just goes,
I know those drums.
That's it. That's all he's doing is the drummer. And D. Snyder looks at the crowd and he goes, I think I know that beat. Do you guys recognize that beat? That sounds like a song I might know. All right, I need you. We're not gonna dude. So he played it in the middle. It wasn't like he didn't close with it, and because it was a perfect spot to re-energize everybody, and everybody's singing and going crazy. They're on their feet, and he goes, and he even says, he comes out and he goes, "Hey, motherfuckers," he goes, "You want to sit down for this show?" He goes, I understand it. You're old. He goes, "This section is sitting down. You know why? That's the handicapped section. They got an excuse." He goes, "The rest of you people, you're old. You've been here all day. You're eating deep fried fucking Oreos. Those things are fucking good. But so what?" He goes, "You think you're old? I'm 60, motherfuckers. Look at me." And he's got his shirt off. He's got abs. He's not out of there's not an ounce of fat on D. Snyder, dude. Not an ounce. And he's just yelling at people, but also in a cheerful, fun way.
Yeah,
like,
he's not making it
No, he
scolding.
didn't scold them, and so people wanted to be with him because you know why? He was taking us on a ride. He was the captain of the goddamn ship. So he busts out, "We're not going to take it," and then all of a sudden, fucking
Plays Zeppelin?
down, dude, fucking Heartbreaker, and
Live and Love and Me.
no, I apologize. Then that's not what he did. I apologize. He did Heartbreaker.
Okay.
Damn it,
What?
he did Heartbreaker.
That's what you were playing.
Right,
Wasn't
that's what he's saying. Why'd you say Live and Love and Made?
Don't they go in from one to the next?
But he didn't. He didn't. That was what I'm
okay,
saying. I wanted him to, but no, he played Heartbreaker.
And
so,
it just
'cause
ended. Yeah.
and he,
Because on the radio,
You
I
threw
always
me
hated-
off.
Yeah, because it goes right from down da da down with a purple.
yes.
Yeah. That's
and
what you
when they put out the greatest hits, the box set,
They cut it.
Jimmy remastered it
Yeah.
and they switched it, so
Yeah.
they're not back to back.
So he plays his Zeppelin
But he
song.
played Heartbreaker. So and dude, and he killed it. Like he's pushing it out, and you can see it's
Yeah.
funny. They show him on the jumbotron, and his abs would like clench and stuff.
His diaphragm.
It was amazing. He sounded great. I'm not saying he's not Plant, but
nobody is.
But it was this credible destruction. It was just so fucking great. And he's singing, and he's ripping it out. And then they played "I Want to Rock," and he's
Yeah.
doing it. And then at the end, he's like, "All right." He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "That was supposed to be the last song, 'I Want to Rock,' because
Yeah.
the place was going crazy." And he goes, "But you know what?" He goes, I'm going to play one more. And he goes, "And you know what? I know everybody out there is like, oh, we're supposed to do an encore now. We're supposed to leave. And you know what? That's just stupid." He goes, "We're going to go in the back. We're going to hide behind the amps. You know we're coming back. We know we're coming back." He goes, "We're just standing there. Sometimes we're crouching down." And then the roadies come out and they're scurrying around and they're putting shit up. And he goes, you know they're putting new guitars out. Of course we're coming out." So he goes, "You know what? I'm not fucking leaving. I'm just going to stand here and I'm going to say, we got one more for you. You want to hear one more?" And everybody goes crazy. And he goes, "Now let me tell you, if you don't want to hear one more, that's fine. Get the fuck out. But if you want to hear one more," and it's like, it was so fun and engaging and great. And because I never thought, I'll tell you what, he did The Price and he dedicated it to the dead drummer. And I will say, this made me laugh. I have to tell you this. Everybody's holding up their cell phones.
Yeah.
Because that's the new thing. He goes,
Yeah.
"Hold up your cell phones to the sky for AJ Pirro." So I'm holding up my cell phone to the sky, and Jill's like just sitting next to me. And I look at it, and I hold my phone in front of her, and I show her. I'm holding up a naked picture of Jill to AJ Pirro. And she looks at me and she goes, "Honey, what are you doing?" I said, "Come on, we're saluting AJ Pirro here. Give him one last thrill on his way out. I'm holding it up, baby." And she's just like, "Oh my God." She literally just shakes her head at me, dude. I don't know why she stays. I got no idea how she fucking tolerates me. No clue. None. So he's just tearing it up. They did The Price. He did the fucking Zeppelin tune. He did the AC/DC song. And then the Twisted Sister stuff. It was fantastic. And then he closed with, he did a mashup. They started playing rock and roll. But he sang the lyrics to Wild One by Iggy Pop.
I'm a real wild one.
Yeah, but to Rock and Roll
Yeah,
by
that's
Zeppelin.
it. Yeah, that
it was
works.
fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really fun. And then we went into the night, like we about halfway through that, because I look at Jill,
She fell asleep.
dude, it's 11:15.
Yeah.
She has to be at work at 4.
You can only rock so much.
Well, when we still got to drive home from the fair and the crowd and everything. So I look at her and I go, "Honey, do you want to go?"
No, not if you want. You want to stay?
Do you want to go? It's okay if you want to go.
No, I'm fine. If you're fine.
Okay, well, I'm fine. I totally want to stay because this is
Okay.
fun, right?
Yeah, are you having fun?
I'm having a lot of fun. This is awesome.
Then
Thank
I'm
you,
having
honey.
fun.
All right, terrific. This is fun.
Okay. And scene.
But this time, in the middle of the encore, I look at her and she just goes,
Let's get the fuck out.
"You want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, honey,
Yeah, I guess I do.
definitely." Since I just because I felt I
That's
just
when
wanted
you turn and go, no.
No, of course I want to stay. No, I would have. Again, I told her, I go,
Yeah.
"You're calling the shots,
Yeah.
baby," because she's got to be. Again, she's got to be at work
Yeah.
at 4. I get to go home and go to bed. So we got up and we made our way out. It was awesome. It was really really fun. It was exactly. Lita Ford was a fucking speed bump, but
Yeah.
everybody else was great.
This is energizing and a really good recap of the evening, but it's still
Could you have a good time at that?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Even with the Zeppelin and the AC/DC mixed in and hearing the musicianship.
Now,
and
if I
seeing it?
just saw Dee Snider's band perform at that part, yes, it's a short set. It's got some cool moments to it, but the full evening, there's no way, because I got to be honest with you, if it doesn't sound good, I don't care.
Yeah. One more thing that was great is he's looking down. He described the band and he introduced everybody.
Yeah.
And he gave here's my guitarist, here's my drummer, my bassist and stuff. The drummer was his drummer from Widowmaker. And he even played, he goes, I was in a band called Widowmaker. He goes, yeah. He goes, one of you bought the CD, that's fine. and he goes, but this was my guy in Widowmaker, so that's the drummer. But he goes, and this guitarist right here, the guy who'd been playing lead, he'd been playing the Page parts and everything else.
Yeah.
He goes, this guy, he goes, a couple of weeks ago, he goes, our roadies are all in bands.
Yeah.
He goes, that's the way it works. He goes, and what they do is they'll play in their band, and then they'll say, hey, you know what? I don't want to get a real fucking job. He goes, if my band's off and you're going out on the road, I'll come roadie for you, because that's the life. That's what we want to do. He goes, so this guy here, he goes, a couple of weeks ago, we're in Europe, and our bass player can't make it. He gets sick. And so I'm like, oh, fuck, this is bad news. And I look around, I go, hey, does anybody want to play bass? And he goes, I'll play bass.
I'll drive fast.
He goes, so he steps in, and he plays bass for us. He goes, a couple weeks later, just like 10 days ago, he goes, we got shows here. We're playing fairs all over. He goes, and our guitar player can't show up. Pussy.
Is he in a band like I was
That's
in?
what
Where
he-
you-
that's
like
basically
a
it.
softball team.
He goes, pussy. He goes, so I turn around, I go, who, anybody play
know
guitar?
their set? Yeah.
And he goes, this guy goes, yeah, I can
can.
play it. He goes, so this is what rock and roll is all about. This is a roadie who's out helping us and then steps in when needed. He goes, that's what rock and roll is about. And this is Keith, and of course, now I don't remember the fucking guy's name.
Well, a lot of actual techs end up being in the band. Isn't Tommy Thayer a tech?
Tommy Thayer, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
He
you
was
know the
ace
guy's
guitar tech.
material. You step up.
But Tommy Thayer was also in Black and Blue.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was in a metal band that you would hate from back
As
then.
opposed to the ones I love.
You love Kicks. Don't tell me you don't love Kicks. So all right, I said I was giving you homework.
When
The
was
show
that?
was.
I
the
don't
show
remember
was.
that.
So you wouldn't. You said if you saw Dee Snider's band, you'd be on board with that, but you can't do the whole day.
I like live music. An hour set or less of a really well mixed band, I'm good with. I can appreciate the covers, and I think that's cool. A good show is a good show.
It was a good show, and I'll tell you, I was surprised at how good a show it was. Like I said, because I was there to see Kicks.
Yeah.
Everybody else, Jill surprised me with the tickets, and I wanted to go and have a great time with her. Lita Ford, I was in the beginning, I was like, I can take or leave Lita Ford. Guess what? I'm leaving her.
Yeah.
I won't even take her now. And I was like, well, it'll be fun to see Dee Snider because I know the two songs. But he had such personality, and he was such fun. And again, he's 60. Fucking Steve Whiteman from Kicks is 58. And they sang and killed it and brought it and were entertaining and energizing because they've been doing this for 30, 40 years each. And that's why it was such a bummer to see Lita Ford kind of crap out on bringing the crowd with her and scolding us. She got old. She got old before our very eyes.
Yeah.
Whereas these dudes were still young, pretending like it was still the 80s and hopping around and having fun.
So what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? What's my assignment?
I don't know if you're going to embrace this, but I hope you'll embrace the challenge of it.
right.
You're a music lover.
I love new things.
You're a music lover.
Yeah, I love the unknown. I love new things. I love surprises. This
You
is-
love
this is
all of those
awesome.
things.
This is
And
gonna
you
be-
love metal.
This is going to be awesome.
It's going to be amazing. I'll tell you what, I'll even expand it.
All right.
I'll give you 6 songs to choose from.
What do you mean?
Hold tight.
Is that one of the songs?
Kicks had, might have been.
all right.
Kicks had,
Hold tight. Hold tight.
that's high enough, that's good.
Yeah, that's
Kicks has Blow My Fuse,
Yeah. Is that a sex euphemism?
maybe.
All right. 'Cause I'm just saying, I don't know. Some of those lyrics are pretty soft.
It actually was a prophetic song because Steve Whiteman went on to be an electrician.
Okay. So blow your fuse.
Blow My Fuse.
All right.
Cold Blood
Cold blood.
is all you need.
Bum,
Cold blood is all you bleed.
break up in a cold sweat.
And then their third song is the ballad Don't Close Your Eyes. Bing gong, ging gong, ging gong.
Is there a
ging, gong.
piano in that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I kind of figured.
Those are the 3 Kick songs. I'm gonna go heavy on Kicks because I love them.
All right.
I know you're not gonna know Wicked Sensation. And
I don't
you're
know
not gonna-
any of these songs.
You're not gonna know anything by Dokken. So I'll,
You know what? One of the bands I had to play in, we played a Dokken song. It was the worst. I don't even know the name of it.
was it Just Got Lucky?
I don't know.
So I'll spare you and Lynch Mob,
All right.
but I will
'cause
throw and Lita Ford. We'll fucking throw Cherry Bomb in there.
What
all right?
about is don't give a damn about my reputation? Is that
No.
That's Joan Jett, right?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah, that's Joan
Crap.
Jett's solo. Oh, dude, if it was Joan Jett, I'd have you do You Want to Touch?
No.
You know that fucking song?
Yeah, I know that song. I know that song.
That's Mike Gerber on the booster bus with me staring at Michelle Dwanch, wondering how to get her naked.
All right, those are a lot of names you just said.
I don't care.
All right, so what do you want me
Cherry
to do
Bomb
with-
is the fourth song
All right.
in this platter, and then we'll go with the hits. We'll go with We're Not Gonna Take It, and we're gonna go with I Wanna Rock. Okay,
That
those
do
are
the SpongeBob
Those
version?
are the two twist. No,
Because that's
those
awesome.
are the two Twisted Sister songs. So it's We're Not Gonna Take It, I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister, Cherry Bomb by the Runaways, and then Cold Blood, Blow My Fuse, and Don't Close Your Eyes by Kix.
I'll break out.
I Want You. Song is a song is a song, right? A hook is a hook is a hook. A great song is a great song, yes?
Yeah,
Even if you don't like the genre, you
Yeah.
can recognize the talent and the musicianship, right?
sure.
I want you to pick one of those 6 songs and do a version of it for this week's show.
You realize this show is coming out in 2 days, right?
Listen to me. I don't know what you're trying to get around here. If you're going to throw up a wall here, if you're going to pretend you're not the man, then that's fine.
I have enough time to lay a good kazoo track down, and then that's really about it.
I don't know if that's going to be possible. Look,
All
I'm
right.
not the music guy. All right, I'll tell you this. I don't know if you can do this. I want you to be able to do this.
I'll take a shot. I'm just saying. That's
Well, hold on. You're telling me you will embrace this challenge.
sure.
Now, I don't want to know what song.
I'm not going to be some elitist guy. I'm not down. It's not like I don't like metal. I just don't care for that particular genre of metal. But the challenge of trying to take something that is something and make it something different, I can do that. But I don't know. The time frame's kind of short.
Well, I won't
You still
be-
want art?
Well, I do need a painting. Certainly.
Oh, I can do that with my feet, and
Well-
I can be the keyboard player from Spinal Tap. I'll just do something with one hand and one with my feet and one with the other, and yeah, I can paint and record.
Well, I think you can. I got
right.
faith in you, and I want you to pick one of those 6 songs. I will send them to you. I will hightail
right.
you the songs so you'll have them. You'll be able to listen, and I'll let you pick. And I don't want to know which one until I get the finished version,
Okay.
and then I will plug it into the show somewhere.
If you don't hear that song, it's in this show. It's because I couldn't get it done in time.
I'll tell you what. If they don't hear that song in this show, that painting better be fucking amazing.
All right. Well, you're gonna get a stick figure this week because
Oh, good. I hope so. That's
I have
fine.
2 studios. One of them is gonna be used, and the other one not so much.
All right, well, no, you got to use a cat house. You just bury yourself in the cat house.
stay down in the basement, no
Stay here,
drawing.
and when I leave, I'll tell Kristen and the kids. You know what? Don't bother Daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy, please don't cry. Daddy, you still got me and little Tommy. Together, we'll find Daddy in the basement painting and doing a song for Mike. So that's
Well, I
happening.
am in the middle of a couple Valscapes. Those are gonna have to wait.
Put them on hold.
All right.
All right, so you're embracing the challenge.
I'll give it a shot.
The gauntlet has been thrown down, and I look
I'm
forward
not
to
making
it.
any promises.
All right. Well, I don't need any promises. You know what? Promises by Naked Eyes. I want you to do a version of that. You guys can get me at Mike and MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old boy. You can find me at Twitter.com/the40year-old boy. Our friend Lily Von Stupp is coming off the high of putting together the Hollywood Burlesque Festival, having it be a huge success this past weekend. Go to her page and congratulate her. Go look at all the pictures at HollywoodBurlesqueFestival.com, or you can go to Facebook.com/Hollywood Burlesque Festival. But remember, she puts on the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. Go to Facebook.com/Monday Night Teas for photos. Go to brownpapertickets.com, put in Lily Von Stupp or Monday Night Teas, and you can buy tickets for that event. It's going to be fun and exciting every time they put it on, and you can go every single Monday and check it out. It's great. Our friend David Hernandez, who's got a challenge ahead of him, so don't write him on Facebook and bother him. He's very busy.
Oh, you know what else we forgot? I still have to dub all these to get them to you. The show.
All right.
All right. So it is going to be a kazoo song.
Ah, man.
All right. I got a triangle. I think there's a shaker.
Oh, dude, I want to. Don't get that shaker near me.
Yeah.
I'll fucking shake it forever. So go to artbydmh.com. He mentioned the Valscapes. Those are available right now. And there's all sorts of amazing things. His GuyCon line. And he does all the artwork and the music for this show. And he's been lucky enough to, I should say nice enough. He's not lucky, but nice enough to have me
Aren't
here in
I
the basement
lucky?
to do stuff. Well, fuck yeah, you actually are. You get to see the sausage getting made. Not many people get to do that. So that's David Hernandez. He is the guy behind the guy behind the guy, and he does all the amazing music and artwork for this show. Thank you so much for doing that. Go to artbydmh, artbydmh.com, and buy a painting and do all again. Hire him to do a painting for you. He can do that for you. And if you go to facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez, send him a friend request that he will ignore until he's done with all of his homework this week.
Dang it.
Yeah, that's right. If you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, first of all, let me say this really quickly. Remember, I'm at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival, and I'm there next week. No, not next week. Jesus Christ. I hope not. Nobody will be there. I'm there. It's September 18th, 19th, and 20th. I found out that I am the first show on the first night. That's 7 o'clock on Friday night.
You're the lynch
18th.
mob of that show.
I'm and Lynch Mob. It's and Mike Schmidt and the 40-year-old boy. Because there's Doug Loves Movies, and Douglas Movies, Walking the Room, and The 40-Year-Old Boy, all at 7 o'clock. Are you pulling a Dave Hansen on me here?
Yeah, dude, I got a whale.
Well, go if you want to. I'm fine.
Finish your thing.
All right. So please use the code BOY. That's BOY, all lowercase. If you want to buy tickets or buy live streaming of the Los Angeles Podcast Festival, you buy the live streaming, you get access to all 3 days and see all the shows, including mine, which is kicking off the festival. But if you want to buy tickets, live tickets, which I know our friends Heidi and Mel have, and other people have bought tickets using my code, you can use the code BOY, B-O-Y. The show gets money, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. Next week, I will tell you all about my car and the adventures thereof.
Oh, man.
By the way, when you hear this, I will be in a car driving cross country with my lovely girlfriend, Jill. And I remember I was like, oh man, I don't know about how Pittsburgh's going to go with us in the car. And then it went fabulously, right? It went fantastically.
Yes.
Well, now we're going to drive cross country together, and that's going to be fucking amazing. I can't wait.
Do you want to stop somewhere?
Honey, well, I don't know. Do you want to stop?
I'm okay if you're okay.
Well, I'm good, but I think maybe I could stop. Maybe. Do you want to?
No, I'm all right if you're all right.
Was that going to cause us like our time? Is it going to hurt us or?
No, but if you want to stop, it's fine with me.
No, I think I'm okay. I think we don't need to stop.
And scene.
Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, go all the pages there, and check out all the cool stuff. You can donate to the show. Click on the little Schmitty with his pocket out on any page on the site. But if you go to the Joe Business page, we got several different things. Hey, you know what? My CD, The Big Angry, is available. It came out 2 years ago this week. So go ahead and buy a copy of that, and I'll autograph it for you and send it out to you. If you bought one already, buy another one. Maybe it's different. Get it home and listen to it and see how it works.
You can listen to it in stereo.
Absolutely. Oh, listen to it in both earbuds. Why not? Plug it into 2 different machines. While we're there, we'll go ahead and get Schmidt Alive 2. That's also available for download. That's a live video and audio package from last year's podcast festival. We've got year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6 of this show available individually or as the Reservoir Schmidt Dogs box set, download set, and year 7 is coming soon.
Oh, it's coming real soon.
As soon as the artwork. Are you going to get that artwork this week?
Oh, wait a minute. No.
All right, maybe not as soon as I thought, but go ahead.
I'll be learning how to play a banjo.
The others are available, so check those out. And of course, use our Amazon link. It gets us money, and it goes ahead and makes cool things happen for us. So go ahead and click on the Amazon store link, and then click through the store and go to Real Amazon and spend, and we get money, and that helps the show out very much. Thank you so much. And what else is on that page? We've got T-shirts, the Yurt shirts. And Alessandro, if you got your shirt and you liked it, great. If you didn't, write me, because I sold like 5 shirts last week.
Yay.
And our friend Alessandro bought one, and I gave him a different one than he thought or whatever.
You didn't sell him the one with the muck on it?
No muck. That one's installed in my closet, I believe. I haven't been home in like 2 fucking weeks. My apartment might not even be there anymore. I have no idea what that gas leak I had, the slow gas leak.
She stole your shirts.
And so again, there's Podcast Festival that's coming up, and use the code BOY, B-O-Y.
You call him boy.
Join the West Side 86 Jokers. That's our fan club page, and see all the cool artwork that David does for that, and go on there and tell me that you like the show or you don't like the show. That would be a bad place to tell me you don't like the show, actually.
There's no real good place to tell you.
I agree. So, well, in person, by all means, that's always the best. Come up to me.
Because then you know you got some balls.
I don't like your show. Hey, nice to meet you. Now go ahead and take that's what Dave Hansen said to me the other day at the show. That's what he said.
I'm stealing your Elvis pictures.
Jamette pictures, let's be honest with ourselves. And then we can go ahead and, was there anything else to plug? We got anything else? I don't think we do.
If you're in the western suburbs this weekend, I will be mowing my grass.
Really?
Yeah, from about 2 to 2:45 in the afternoon.
Your
Saturday.
grass or somebody else's grass?
Mine.
Have you branched out into another business that I don't know about?
No. That would just be too cliche.
Grassbydmh.com?
Yes.
Lawnsbydmh.com?
Yes.
Yardsbydmh.com? Sure. Foliagebydmh.com?
Cruising downtown, shaking her love. TNA talking to me. Felt my heart drop, wheeled it then stop. Girl has got me on my knee. Baby, baby, babe, don't make me wonder. Won't you let me in? She said, see you later. Shot it down, I'll be back again. Good love is all you need. dream come true, I wanna give it to you. Let the flames get high. Baby, baby, you're driving me crazy, like a cat in a cage.